There is a language older than words, a language that was spoken in the first silence, before the universe learned to name itself. It is not spoken by the tongue, but felt as a resonance in the bones. It is not written in ink upon paper, but coded in the very helix of your being, a scripture of light that carries the memory of stars. Do you feel it? A subtle hum beneath the noise of your days, a quiet ache of longing for a home you cannot name. This feeling, this sacred discontent with the ordinary, is not a flaw in your design. It is a feature. It is the echo of this forgotten language, a homing signal from your soul calling you to remember. We have been born into a world of incredible noise, a relentless storm of information, opinions, and digital ghosts. This static has built a fortress around the heart, teaching us to seek answers everywhere but within. It has convinced us that we are small, separate, and defined only by our history and our limitations. It has caused us to forget that our bodies are not mere flesh, but living libraries, and our DNA is not just a biological inheritance, but a cosmic one. This journey, the one we now begin together, is not a lecture for the mind. It is an attunement for the spirit. It is a process of calibration, a sacred pause designed to gently clear the static, to create a space of such profound stillness that the subtle broadcast of your inner universe can finally be heard. We are not here to learn something new, but to remember something ancient. We are here to gently turn the key that unlocks the sleeping codes within your cells, to awaken the dormant intelligence in your heart, and to reclaim your fluency in the native tongue of the cosmos, the language of light. So find a place of quiet. Allow your body to settle. Let your breath be the anchor that connects you to this present moment, the only moment that has ever truly existed. The doorway is open. Let us begin. There is a feeling, is there not? A quiet companion that has walked with you for years, perhaps for your entire life. It is not a loud, demanding pain, but a subtle hum of discontent, a persistent whisper that says, "Is this all there is?" It is the ghost of a melody you can't quite recall, heard in the space between your thoughts. It is the sense that you are standing before a great feast, yet feel an unexplainable hunger. You may have achieved what you were told to achieve, built what you were told to build, and become who you were told to become, only to find yourself in a beautifully decorated room with no air to breathe. The world calls this feeling by many names: anxiety, depression, disillusionment, a midlife crisis. It offers solutions: a new purchase, a different relationship, a more ambitious goal, a pill to dull the ache. But none of it ever truly touches the source. Because that feeling, that hollow ache in the center of your being, is not a sickness. It is not a sign that you are broken. It is a communication. It is the echo of a forgotten language, the first stirring of a truth that has slept within you for eons. It is your soul, speaking to you in the only way it can through the dense static of modern life. Consider this: your soul, the timeless, infinite part of you, is a magnificent musical instrument. Imagine it as a harp with strings of pure light, or a drum whose skin is the membrane between worlds. It was crafted by the universe itself, perfectly tuned to resonate with the great cosmic symphony. Its purpose is not just to exist, but to play its unique and irreplaceable part in that divine orchestra. But from the moment you were born into this world, the instrument began to be affected by the atmosphere. The dust of others' expectations began to settle upon its strings. The humidity of collective sorrow and fear began to warp its perfect frame. The careless hands of a society that values noise over harmony and appearance over substance began to twist its tuning pegs. No one did this with malice. They were simply passing on the state of their own untuned instruments, teaching you to accept dissonance as the natural state of being. And so, the instrument fell silent. Or worse, it began to produce a sound that was not its own. Instead of a clear, resonant note of joy and purpose, there came a dull thud of obligation. Instead of a vibrant, soaring melody, there came a mournful hum of quiet desperation. This dissonance is the feeling you live with. It is the exhaustion you feel after a day of forcing a smile. It is the subtle, grating tension in conversations that remain on the surface. It is the hollowness that follows a fleeting pleasure. It is your soul, your magnificent instrument, crying out, "This is not my song. This is not my key. This is not why I am here." This feeling of dissatisfaction, this sense of being fundamentally out of place, is the most honest and sacred signal you can possibly receive. It is the sound of your own truth, trying to break through layers of conditioning. For so long, you may have believed this sensitivity was a curse. You see others who seem perfectly content with the noise, who thrive in the shallow waters, who dance to the discordant rhythm of the world without a second thought. And you wonder, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just be happy with this? You have tried to silence the feeling, to push it down, to argue with it, to diagnose it. But what if that sensitivity is not a weakness, but your greatest strength? What if it is a sign that your instrument is not broken, but is in fact of an exceptionally high quality? A cheap, plastic toy guitar can be thrown around and still produce a noise that passes for music in a loud room. But a Stradivarius violin? It responds to the slightest change in temperature, the most subtle shift in humidity. Its very perfection is what makes it so sensitive. Your soul is a Stradivarius. Your discomfort is a testament to its quality. The feeling of being alone in a crowd is not a sign that you are antisocial. It is a sign that your soul recognizes the dissonance around it and is yearning for true harmony. That feeling of loneliness is a compass needle that is trying to point you away from the empty calories of superficial connection and toward the deep nourishment of authentic resonance. It is pointing you north toward your true self. When you feel that ache, your soul is not saying, "I am broken." It is saying, "I remember something more. I remember the song I am meant to play." This is the echo of the forgotten language. It is an echo of your own vastness, a memory of a time when you knew without question that you were woven from the fabric of the cosmos. It is an echo of a promise your soul made to itself before it ever took on this human form, promise to awaken, to remember, and to radiate its unique light into the world. It is an echo of pure, unconditional belonging to the universe itself, a belonging so profound that it makes all other forms of conditional acceptance feel like counterfeit currency. So for a moment, right now, I invite you to stop fighting this feeling. Stop trying to fix it or outrun it. Instead, do something radical. Welcome it. Let go of the story that it is wrong. Take a breath and simply allow it to be there. Allow this divine dissatisfaction to wash through you without judgment. Where does it live in your body? Is it a tightness in your throat? A hollowness in your chest? A knot in your stomach? Do not name it. Do not analyze it. Simply feel its energetic signature. This is the first step of communication. You are finally listening. As you sit with it, breathe into it. Imagine your breath carrying a message of acceptance directly to that part of your body. The message is simple. I hear you. Thank you for getting my attention. I am listening now. You are not promising to make the feeling go away. You are changing your relationship to it. You are moving from adversary to ally. You are beginning to treat this feeling not as an intruder, but as a messenger, a guide who has been patiently knocking on your door for a very, very long time. This act of listening is the first step in tuning your sacred instrument. It is not about frantically twisting the pegs or replacing the strings. It is simply about sitting in stillness and hearing for the first time what is actually being played. It is about acknowledging the dissonance with compassion. In this space of quiet acceptance, a miracle happens. The echo begins to change. The painful ache of discontent slowly starts to transform into the gentle pull of curiosity. The despair of loneliness begins to soften into the quiet power of solitude. You have heard the first note of your soul's true song. It is faint, perhaps buried under years of noise, but it is undeniably there. It is a sound more real than anything you have ever known. But to hear the full melody, to truly grasp its beauty and its power, we must first learn to distinguish it from the cacophony that seeks to drown it out. To truly tune the instrument, we must understand the environment that has detuned it. We must turn our attention to the very architecture of the noise itself. You have heard it, the first faint note from the echo of your soul, a single pure tone of remembrance in the vast silence of your inner world. But as you begin to focus on it, you become aware of the sheer, overwhelming volume of what surrounds it. It is like trying to hear a single flute in the middle of a roaring stadium. The sound of the flute is true, but the noise is deafening. To hear the music, we must first understand the nature of the noise. We must turn our gaze toward the very thing we have been submerged in for our entire lives, the invisible, all-encompassing structure I call the matrix of noise. This matrix is not something physical. It is a psychological and energetic construct, a consensus reality built from the shared fears, beliefs, desires, and judgments of humanity. It is a program that runs silently in the background of your mind, and its primary directive is simple: keep you looking outward, keep you distracted, entertained, outraged, and seeking validation anywhere but within the kingdom of your own being. It is a cage without bars, one that is locked from the inside, and we have been handed the key from the moment we were born. The noise is the substance of this matrix. It is the relentless broadcast that creates its illusory walls. Let us return to the metaphor of the instrument. If your soul is the instrument, then your mind, your consciousness, is the radio receiver. It is the most sophisticated receiver in the entire universe, capable of tuning into any frequency, from the densest fear to the most sublime love. The matrix of noise functions by hijacking this receiver. It doesn't force you to listen. It is more subtle than that. It simply ensures that certain stations are broadcast at maximum volume, 24 hours a day, so loudly that you forget you even have a tuning dial. You begin to believe the broadcast is the totality of reality. You begin to mistake the voice of the announcer for your own. What are these stations? You know them well. There is Station Fear 24/7, broadcasting an endless stream of what-ifs, worst-case scenarios, and reasons to stay small and safe. It plays commercials for anxiety and sells you insurance against life itself. Then there is Radio Scarcity, with its #1 hit single, There's Not Enough to Go Around, followed by its B-side, You Are Not Good Enough to Get It. It fills you with a sense of frantic competition and a deep, gnawing belief in lack. Its sister station, of course, is the globally popular Channel Comparison, an endless talk show where every caller's life seems more vibrant, more successful, and more meaningful than yours. It is designed to leave you feeling perpetually behind, forever measuring your inner worth against someone else's curated exterior. This broadcast pours into your receiver from countless sources. It is the digital scream of the news feed, a carefully engineered river of manufactured outrage and fleeting trivia, designed to keep your nervous system in a state of low-grade alarm. It is the endless scroll of social media, a highlight reel of curated perfection that programs you to feel that your own unedited life is a failure. It is the echo of old voices, the ghosts of parents, teachers, and figures of authority whose beliefs about the world and about you still run as looping scripts in your mind. The shoulds, the musts, the don't, forgets, a chorus of limitations that you accepted as truth long ago. The noise is also the tyranny of the future, the constant, anxious planning and strategizing for a moment that never arrives, pulling your life force from the present, the only place where the soul's song can actually be heard. The ultimate purpose of this matrix of noise is to construct and perpetually fortify the ego, the false self. The ego is the identity you believe yourself to be, a collection of labels, memories, roles, and opinions. It thrives on separation, on conflict, on being right, on being better than or worse than. The noise is its food. It provides the constant stream of data needed for judgment and comparison. The noise builds an armor of identity around your tender, infinite soul. This armor feels like it protects you, but its true function is to imprison you. It cuts you off from the genuine, unpredictable, and miraculous flow of life. And the language of light, the whispers of the soul, cannot penetrate this armor. So what is the path to liberation? How do you unplug from a matrix you cannot see? You do not fight it. To fight the noise is to create more noise. To argue with the static is to still be tuned to the static. To rage against the machine is to feed the machine your energy. The first act of true rebellion is not loud, it is silent. It is the act of becoming the observer, the witness. I invite you to try this now. For the next few moments, adopt a new posture in your own mind. Imagine you are sitting in a quiet, peaceful room. Outside the window of this room is the sky, and your thoughts are simply clouds passing through it. There are dark storm clouds of worry, fluffy white clouds of pleasant daydreams, and thin, wispy clouds of fleeting memories. Your task is not to change the clouds, to judge the clouds, or to cling to the clouds. Your task is simply to sit in the room and watch them pass. You are not the clouds. You are the vast, open, silent sky in which they appear and disappear. Or, if you prefer, imagine you are sitting on the bank of a river. Your thoughts and feelings are leaves, twigs, and branches floating by on the current. Some are heavy and dark, some are light and beautiful. Your programming, the habit of a lifetime, will urge you to jump into the river, to grab the logs of worry, to try and fish out the pretty leaves of pleasure. Your practice now is to resist this urge. You simply sit on the bank and watch the river of your mind flow by. You are not the river. You are the silent, unmoving witness on the bank. This is the beginning of freedom. In the space you create between the observer, your true self, and the observed, the stream of noise, your power, is reclaimed. When a thought from radio scarcity enters your mind, you'll never be able to afford that. You do not have to believe it or fight it. You can simply notice it and say internally, "Ah, that is a thought of scarcity. I see it." And then you let it float by. When a feeling from channel comparison arises as you look at a photo online, you do not have to fall into the pit of despair. You can notice the pang of envy and say, "Ah, there is the feeling of comparison. I feel it," and you let it be, without adding a second layer of judgment about why you are feeling it. When you practice this, something miraculous begins to happen. The thoughts and feelings begin to lose their power over you. They are no longer your unquestioned reality. They are simply weather patterns in your consciousness. The volume of the noisy stations begins to fade, not because you broke the radio, but because you simply stopped giving them your undivided attention. You are taking your hand off the tuning dial that was stuck for so long. You are remembering that you have a choice. This practice of non-judgmental observation is the ultimate act of unplugging. Each time you choose to witness a thought rather than become it, you are pulling one of the energetic cords that connects you to the matrix of noise. You are reclaiming your life force. You are taking your attention, which is the most valuable currency in the universe, back from the external world and reinvesting it in your inner kingdom. And when you truly witness the noise for what it is, impersonal, repetitive, and ultimately not you, the seamless illusion of the matrix begins to shimmer. You start to see the patterns, the flimsy set pieces, the looping scripts that it uses to keep you entranced. You begin to recognize the announcer's voice and can finally distinguish it from your own. This seeing, this pristine awareness born of quiet observation, is the first crack in the facade of the consensus reality. And through that first crack, a sliver of genuine, unfiltered light begins to shine through, showing you that the world you thought was so solid is in fact an illusion, ready to be transformed. You have stood outside the matrix of noise. You have witnessed its looping broadcasts and felt the first subtle shift as you reclaim your attention. In that pristine gap between you, the silent witness, and the clamor of the conditioned mind, a sliver of genuine, unfiltered light begins to shine through. But do not be mistaken. This light, the first true light of awakening, does not always arrive like a gentle dawn. It does not knock politely on the door of your awareness. More often than not, it arrives like lightning. It arrives with the force of a battering ram, because it must shatter the very foundations of the reality you have known. It must create the first cracks in the facade. We are taught to fear the crack. We are conditioned to see crisis as failure, breakdown as disease, and loss as an enemy to be avoided at all costs. Our entire society is structured around maintaining a smooth, unbroken surface. We are told to be strong, to hold it together, to patch the cracks with positivity and push forward. But what if this is profoundly misguided? What if the breakdown is not the problem, but the beginning of the solution? What if the crisis you feared, the crisis you endured, or the crisis you may be in right now, is a sacred intervention, an act of divine grace disguised as chaos? Consider the life you have built, the personality you have constructed, the roles you play, the beliefs you hold about yourself and the world. This you is a shell. It is a masterpiece of engineering, hardened by years of conformity, fortified by the need for approval, and polished by the performance of competence. It is not false, but it is incomplete. It has served a vital purpose. It has kept the tender seed of your soul safe while it navigated the often harsh climate of the world. But the shell was never meant to be a permanent dwelling. A seed is not meant to remain a seed forever. Its destiny is to burst open and become what it was always meant to be. And so, the life force within you, that echo you have begun to hear, starts to grow. Awakened by your new attention, that sliver of light begins to expand. It begins to push against the inner walls of your carefully constructed reality. At first, this pressure is just a vague discomfort, the familiar feeling of discontent. But as the energy grows, it needs more room. The shell becomes a prison, and because the shell, your ego identity, knows only its own survival, it resists. It holds on with all its might, and so it must crack. This cracking takes many forms. It is the loss of a job you thought defined you. It is the end of a relationship that had become your entire world. It is a health crisis that brings you face to face with your own mortality. It is the quiet, creeping erosion of burnout that leaves you hollowed out, with no energy left to pretend. From the outside, and certainly from the inside, it looks like disaster. It feels like failure. It feels like you are breaking apart, and from the perspective of the shell, it is an apocalypse. The carefully constructed world is indeed ending, and the pain of that ending is real. It must be honored. But from the perspective of the life force within, from the viewpoint of the soul, this is not an ending, it is a birth. The cracking of the shell is the most crucial moment in the life of the seed. It is the moment of liberation. Through that first jagged crack, the seedling within gets its first taste of real sunlight, its first breath of open air, its first contact with the fertile soil of the unknown. Do not fear the breaking. If you can find it within you, learn to be grateful for it. The moments of your deepest pain have always been the moments of your greatest potential. They are portals. Many of us must be brought to our knees before we are willing to look up. We must be brought to what is called rock bottom. The mind despises this place, but the soul recognizes it as sacred ground. Why? Because at rock bottom, the pretense is gone, the masks have shattered, the ego is too exhausted, too broken to maintain its elaborate defenses. You have nothing left to prove, and no one left to impress. It is here, in the rubble of your former life, in the stark, humbling nakedness of, I don't know, that you are finally, exquisitely, yourself. It is here that authentic spirituality is born. It is not found in a book or a workshop, but in the raw, undeniable surrender of your own life. It is in the vulnerability of admitting, I cannot do this alone, that a power far greater than your personal will finally has room to enter. I invite you now to gently look back upon your own life. Bring to mind a time of cracking, a heartbreak, a failure, a loss that brought you to your knees. At the time, it was only pain. But can you see now, with the eyes of the witness, the silent observer you are becoming? Can you see how that event, as painful as it was, cracked you open to something new? Perhaps it shattered an illusion you were clinging to. Perhaps it forced you to develop a resilience you never knew you possessed. Perhaps it stripped away a false identity and revealed a deeper strength. See if you can hold that memory not with regret, but with a quiet, knowing reverence. You were not being punished. You were being initiated. The universe loved you so much that it broke your shell to set you free. Through these cracks, the light doesn't just enter. It begins to communicate. Through the crack of a lost career comes the light of your true calling. Through the crack of a broken heart comes the light of unconditional self-love. Through the crack of burnout comes the light of a more authentic, sustainable way of living. The light illuminates what the shell could not see. It reveals the truth. It reorganizes your perception. This new clarity, this sudden insight, this intuitive knowing that arises from the ashes of crisis, this is the language of light making itself known. It is no longer just an echo. It is a direct transmission, an experience. You are not just hearing the music. You are beginning to feel it resonate through your whole being. But this new light, this raw, untamed energy of the emerging soul, is volatile. It cannot be held in the mind alone. The mind will try. It will try to analyze it, categorize it, and turn it into a new, more spiritual set of beliefs to build a new and improved shell. This is the greatest temptation on the path. But the light is not a concept. It is a living force. It is fire. And fire cannot be held in a container of thought. It needs a vessel that can ground its energy and embody its wisdom. And so, the light, having cracked the facade of the ego, now turns its attention to the very ground of your being, the earth of your existence. It seeks a home not in your ideas, but in your cells. It seeks a residence in the living, breathing, sensing temple of your body. To continue this journey, to integrate this light and prevent it from becoming just another mental abstraction, we must learn to inhabit this temple not as a forgotten ghost in the attic, but as a sovereign and fully present intelligence. We must learn to tune the instrument itself. We have arrived at the temple. After passing through the cracking facade of the mind's reality, the light of your soul seeks its true home, its anchor in this world. And that temple, the sacred ground of your entire existence, is your body. For a moment, let that sink in. Your body, this vessel of flesh, bone, and blood that you inhabit. For centuries, and especially in our modern age, we have been taught a great falsehood about this vessel. We have been taught to see it as a machine, a biological vehicle whose primary purpose is to carry the head, the seat of reason, from one task to another. We have been conditioned to relate to our bodies as objects to be disciplined, judged, decorated, and perfected from the outside. We treat it as an it, a thing separate from our true self, a source of endless trouble, a beast to be tamed, or a statue to be sculpted. This is the greatest illusion that keeps us from our power. Today, we begin to dissolve this illusion. Today, we begin to relate to the body not as a machine, but as the living, breathing, sacred instrument that it is. Your body is not a dense, solid object. It is a bio-resonant field of immense intelligence. It is a flowing river of information, a crystalline structure of water, minerals, and light, exquisitely designed to receive, process, amplify, and transmit the subtlest energies of the cosmos. You do not have a body. You are a body. Your consciousness is not a ghost trapped inside a machine. Your consciousness is interwoven with every single cell. Let us return to our metaphor. If your soul is the music, then your body is the harp through which that music is played into the world. Imagine your intricate nervous system as the shimmering strings of this harp. Imagine each one of your trillions of cells as a microscopic listening post, humming with the potential for perfect resonance. When this instrument is in tune, It is a source of profound wisdom, boundless energy, and deep, unshakable joy. It moves with grace. It heals itself with astonishing speed. It feels, intuitively, what is true and what is false. It is your direct connection to the wisdom of the earth and the intelligence of the universe. But what has happened to this magnificent instrument? Living in the matrix of noise, it has been subjected to years of disharmonious frequencies. Every unprocessed emotion, every swallowed anger, every unwept tear has become a knot of tension in the body's tissues, a string pulled painfully tight, vibrating with the discordant energy of the past. Every meal eaten mindlessly, every toxin absorbed from the environment, every hour spent under harsh artificial lights and staring at screens has coated the delicate strings in a dull film, dampening their vibrancy and clarity. And perhaps most powerfully, the relentless stream of worry and fear from the untamed mind sends a constant, low-frequency vibration of alarm throughout the entire structure. This chronic state of stress, this fight-or-flight hum, makes it impossible for the instrument to settle into its natural, harmonious state. The result is the body, as most of us experience it, less like a sacred temple and more like a heavy burden. It feels dense, tired, and prone to pain. It becomes a source of anxiety rather than a source of wisdom. We feel disconnected from it, alienated. We try to force it into submission with punishing exercise and restrictive diets, treating the symptoms without ever addressing the root cause of the dissonance, which is our own lack of presence within it. The first, most powerful act of tuning this sacred instrument is not to do anything to it. It is not to begin a new regimen or to force a new discipline upon it. The first step is simply, radically, to be in it, to bring your awareness, your consciousness home. The most potent healing agent in the universe is your own loving, non-judgmental attention. I invite you to do this now. Wherever you are, allow your eyes to gently close. Your first act of embodiment is to feel your own weight. Feel the points of contact between your body and the surface that supports you. Let gravity have you. You do not need to hold yourself up. For this moment, allow yourself to be held. Now, bring your awareness like a soft, warm light to the soles of your feet. Without wiggling your toes or moving, can you simply feel them? Can you feel the subtle tingling, the warmth, the pulse of life that is there? This is not an idea, it is a direct sensation. This is the language of the body. Gently, allow that awareness to travel up through your ankles, into your calves and your knees. Do not judge what you find. Simply notice. Feel the strength in your thighs, the weight of your pelvis resting on your seat. You are inhabiting your foundation. Now bring your awareness to your hands. Without opening your eyes, feel the exact position of your fingers. Feel the air on your skin. Can you feel a subtle energy buzzing in your palms, a feeling of aliveness in your fingertips? This is the hum of the instrument. For most of your life, it has been humming away, unnoticed. Today you notice. Let your awareness drift up through your arms to your shoulders. This is an area where so many of us carry the weight of the world. Do not try to relax them. Simply notice the tension that is there. Acknowledge it. Your gentle awareness is like warm water, and over time, it will dissolve what is frozen. Bring your attention to your chest, the home of your heart. Listen. Can you feel the gentle, rhythmic beat of your heart? This is not just a mechanical pump. This is the central drum of your being, the rhythm keeper for your life's song. Feel it, honor it. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your abdomen with each breath. Your body is breathing itself. You do not have to do anything. It is taking care of you. This simple act of conscious inhabitation is the most profound form of meditation. You are telling your body, after years of neglect, I am here with you, I am listening. As you practice this, your relationship with your body begins to transform. You start to realize it has an intelligence that is ancient and profound, an intelligence that speaks not in words, but in sensations. That gut feeling is not a metaphor. It is the deep knowing of your enteric nervous system, your second brain. A heavy heart is not just poetry. It is the wisdom of your heart's electromagnetic field, communicating a truth your mind might be denying. When your shoulders tense as someone speaks, your body is giving you a piece of data more honest than any word they might be saying. As you learn to listen, the tuning begins to happen naturally. You start to know from an inner sense what your body truly needs. Not what a diet book tells you, but what your unique instrument requires to be in harmony. You know when you need rest, when you need movement, when you need silence, when you need nature. You stop treating food as a reward or punishment and start seeing it as information and energy that you offer to your cells. You stop treating exercise as a war against your body and start experiencing it as a joyful celebration of the body's aliveness. Your awareness is the hand of the master tuner. By simply placing your gentle, loving attention on an area of discomfort, you are sending it a powerful healing frequency. You are inviting the frozen energy to melt, the tightened strings to soften, and the dissonant vibrations to return to their natural harmony. As you begin to inhabit your body in this way, the instrument slowly, gently, begins to come back online. The strings are cleared of their dust. The knots of old, stored emotion begin to be processed and released. The body becomes less of a source of static and more of a finely calibrated antenna, an earth ground for your spirit, ready to receive a much subtler and more beautiful signal. But an antenna, no matter how well tuned, is useless in a hurricane of noise. An instrument, no matter how resonant, cannot reveal its true voice in a cacophony. To hear the celestial music that this tuned instrument is now capable of playing, we must place it in a space worthy of its resonance. We must create a container of profound and living quiet. We must now explore the alchemy of stillness. The instrument is prepared. Through mindful inhabitation, you have begun to tune the strings of your nervous system and clear the resonance chambers of your cells. The body, your sacred temple, is no longer a source of noise, but a finely calibrated receiver, ready to sense the subtlest vibrations of truth. But an instrument, no matter how perfectly tuned, does not play itself in a vacuum. It requires a concert hall, a space with the proper acoustics for its music to unfold, to expand, and to be truly heard. The concert hall of the soul is stillness. In our world, we have become a culture that is terrified of the quiet. We treat silence as an empty space, a void that must be filled immediately with music, with podcasts, with news, with endless conversation, and when all else fails, with the frantic, looping chatter of our own thoughts. We have equated stillness with boredom, with unproductivity, with death. But this is a profound misunderstanding. We have mistaken the container for the content. Stillness is not the absence of something. It is the presence of everything. It is the primal canvas upon which all of creation is painted. It is the unmanifest field of pure potential from which all sounds, all thoughts, and all forms arise. It is the womb of the cosmos. To understand its power, let us imagine that the mind is a lake. For most of our lives, the lake of our mind is in a constant state of agitation. Every thought is a stone thrown into the water. Every judgment is a pebble. Every worry is a gust of wind that churns the surface. The result is a chaotic mess of ripples, waves, and currents. When the lake is in this state, two things are true. First, you cannot see the sky clearly. The surface reflects only its own turmoil, offering you a distorted, fractured, and unreliable picture of reality. Second, you cannot see into the depths. The water is clouded and murky with the sediment of your own agitation, and the vast treasures that lie on the lakebed remain completely hidden from view. We spend most of our lives trying to navigate by this distorted reflection and trying to find fulfillment in the murky, shallow waters, all while a storm of our own making rages on the surface. The spiritual path, in its essence, is the practice of allowing the waters to calm. Notice the word allowing. You do not force the waves to be still. That would only create more struggle, more agitation. You simply stop throwing stones. You stop feeding the winds of worry with your attention. You sit on the shore of your own being, and you let the water do what it naturally does when left undisturbed. It finds its own stillness. As the waters of the mind settle, a great miracle occurs. The sediment of past conditioning and future anxiety gently drifts to the bottom. The water becomes crystal clear, and now, for the first time, you can see. The surface becomes like a flawless mirror of black glass. It no longer reflects your own internal chaos, but perfectly reflects the vast, silent, star-filled sky of pure consciousness. And simultaneously, you can see right down to the very bottom of the lake. The forgotten treasures, the ancient wisdom, the deep silent knowing that has been there all along, is revealed in the pristine clarity. This is the power of stillness. It clarifies your perception of the world, and it reveals the wisdom within you. So how do we find this stillness? How do we enter this sacred concert hall? We begin not by trying to silence the mind, but by changing what we are listening to. I invite you to practice this now. As you sit here, with your body settled and your eyes closed, simply open your awareness to the world of sound. But listen in a new way. Listen not to the sounds themselves, but to the silence in which the sounds are happening. Perhaps you hear the distant hum of traffic or the subtle whir of an appliance in your home. Instead of focusing on the sound, focus on the vast, silent space that is holding that sound. The sound is a momentary event. The silence is the eternal background. The sound is a tiny figure on a vast canvas. Become interested in the canvas. When you hear a sound arise, notice it without judgment, and then listen closely as it fades away. Listen to the moment the sound dissolves back into the silence from which it came. The silence was there before the sound, it was there during the sound, and it is there after the sound. The silence is primary. The sound is secondary. By shifting your attention to the background of silence, you begin to align your own consciousness with its peaceful, unchanging nature. You are resting in the canvas, not chasing the fleeting figures. Now, let us apply this same principle to the inner world. Turn your awareness inward, to the stream of your thoughts. Your thoughts are like sounds arising in the vast space of your consciousness. The untrained mind fixates on the thoughts, believing each one, arguing with them, getting carried away by them. This is like focusing only on the noises and forgetting the silence. We will do something different. We will listen for the silence between our thoughts. Do not try to stop your thoughts. That is impossible and only creates tension. Simply observe them as they arise. And then, with a patient and curious attention, watch for the gap, the tiny, precious pause between the end of one thought and the beginning of the next. It may only be a fraction of a second, but in that gap is a doorway. In that gap, there is no thinking. There is only pure, silent awareness. At first, you may barely notice it. But as you practice, as you become more interested in the gap than in the thoughts themselves, the gaps will begin to grow longer. You are resting in the silence of the mind. What is this stillness made of? As you rest in it, you will find it is not empty. It is not a dead void. It is profoundly alive. It is humming with a serene, powerful, and deeply intelligent energy. It is a field of pure presence. This is the resonance of stillness. It is the sound of the universe in its unmanifest state. It is the sound of God breathing. It is within this living stillness that your tuned body, your sacred instrument, finally begins to resonate with its true purpose. The subtle vibrations that were drowned out by the noise of the world and the mind can now, at last, be felt. You might perceive it as a sense of deep, cellular peace. You might feel a gentle, pleasant vibration in your hands or in your chest. You may feel a sense of expansion, as if the boundaries of your skin are becoming soft and porous. You may feel a quiet, profound joy that has no external cause. This is the instrument beginning to play its soul song, amplified by the perfect acoustics of the inner silence. This is the language of light, no longer an echo, but a felt reality, a direct, vibrational knowing. The codes of light are not shouted, they are whispered, and they can only be heard and felt in the deep, resonant quiet of your own being. As you rest here, in this harmony of attuned body within a field of living stillness, another layer of truth begins to reveal itself. You begin to perceive that the deep wisdom you are sensing, the music you are feeling, is not coming from somewhere outside of you. The treasures you are seeing on the bed of the now still lake are not foreign objects that fell from a passing ship. They are made of the very substance of the lake itself. You begin to understand that your body, this instrument, is more than just a resonator for a song coming from afar. It is also the source of the music. It is a repository of ancient information, a living archive of cosmic memory encoded in its very cells. In the profound silence, you discover that this magnificent instrument is, in fact, a library, and the journey now calls us to learn how to read its sacred texts. In the resonant silence, a new perception dawns. As you sit within the tuned temple of your body, bathed in the living stillness you have cultivated, you begin to sense that the music you feel is not an external broadcast. It is an echo from within the very walls of the temple itself. The feeling of peace, the hum of aliveness, the quiet whisper of knowing it, is all emanating from a source deep within you. You have moved from the noisy courtyard of the world, through the cracking facade of the mind, and into the inner sanctum. You have discovered the reading room. Now, let us turn our attention to the books. Science, in its current and valuable paradigm, tells you that your DNA is a biological blueprint, a complex chemical code responsible for building proteins, determining the color of your eyes, and passing on hereditary traits. This is true, but it is a truth so breathtakingly incomplete that it borders on falsehood. It is like describing a sacred library, filled with the wisdom of the ages, as merely a building made of stone, wood, and paper. It misses the entire point. The profound and life-altering truth is this: your DNA is a living, multi-dimensional library of light. It is a biological archive, a crystalline data storage system that holds information far beyond the scope of your single lifetime. Imagine for a moment, imagine your trillions of cells not as biological machines, but as vast, circular libraries, their walls stretching into shimmering, infinite space. And within each of these libraries, the shelves are lined not with paper books, but with luminous, crystalline scrolls of pure light. These are your chromosomes, your DNA. Each double helix is a sacred text, a book written in a language far older than words, a language of light, of frequency, of geometry, and of consciousness itself. What is written in these books? Everything. This living library within you holds the memory of suns exploding and galaxies being born. It holds the geological history of this planet, the memory of ancient mountains rising and oceans forming. It holds the botanical wisdom of the forests and the biological knowledge of every species that has ever lived. Within these scrolls is the emotional wisdom of every human ancestor who walked the earth before you. Their triumphs, their sorrows, their resilience, and most profoundly, stored in a place of utmost sanctity within this library, is the original blueprint of your soul, the unique vibrational signature that is you, the memory of who you were before you took on this body, and the sacred intention your soul chose for this particular journey into human form. Modern science, with its powerful but limited tools, has begun to map this library. Yet, finding that it can only decipher the first few pages of the first chapter of a single book, the part that codes for protein sit, has looked upon the staggering 98% that remains and labeled it junk DNA. Can you feel the cosmic irony? To stand in the great library of Alexandria and, after reading a single page of a single scroll, declare the rest to be meaningless scribbles. It is not junk. It is simply written in a language that requires a different kind of reader. It is in these unread volumes that the great secrets of your potential are stored. These are the chapters on your latent intuitive abilities, the volumes on your capacity for profound telepathic empathy, the texts on your innate ability to communicate with the natural world, the scrolls that contain the precise instructions for the spontaneous healing of your own body. It is all there, sleeping silently on the shelves, waiting for the librarian to be awakened. And who is the librarian? You are. Your consciousness is the librarian. This is not a dusty, static archive. It is a living, intelligent, and infinitely responsive system. The library is constantly listening to you. It is aware of your every thought, your every feeling, your every intention. Your state of being is the signal that tells the library which volumes to make available. When you live in a state of chronic fear, stress, and contraction, you are broadcasting a clear message to your own cellular intelligence. It is not safe. Keep the advanced volumes locked away. I am in survival mode. Just run the basic programs for breathing and digestion. Your own vibrational state acts as a security system, preventing access to levels of information you are not yet prepared to integrate. But when you begin to do this work, when you step out of the noise, when you lovingly inhabit your body, when you cultivate stillness, you change your broadcast. When you generate feelings of gratitude, of love, of compassion, of genuine wonder, you are sending a new signal to the depths of your own being. You are saying, I am here, I am present, I am open, I am ready to remember. Your elevated emotional state is the master key. It is the library card with the highest level of clearance. It communicates to the librarian within that you are ready, and the doors to the previously forbidden sections of your own inner library begin to swing silently open. How does one read these sacred texts? You do not read them with your eyes or with your rational mind. The ego mind, the part of you that thinks in linear words, cannot decipher this language. You read this library with your entire being. You feel it, you sense it, you know it. The reading of this information manifests in your life as a sudden, undeniable experience. It might arrive as a flash of creative genius that seems to come from nowhere. It might be a sudden healing of a long-standing physical ailment. It might be a wave of profound empathy for a stranger, where you suddenly understand their pain as if it were your own. It can be an inexplicable talent that suddenly awakens, like a desire to paint or play music, even if you never have before. It can be a deep, unshakable sense of peace that descends upon you for no apparent reason. You are not downloading data into your brain. You are activating the dormant potentials that were already yours. You are not learning something new. You are remembering who you have always been at the deepest level of your existence. And you are not alone on this journey of remembrance. There is a master librarian overseeing the entire process. Your own higher self, the wise, expanded, eternal part of your consciousness that is not trapped in the drama of daily life. This self knows the entire layout of the library. It knows exactly which book, which page, which sentence you need to read at this exact moment for your highest growth. The process of DNA activation, therefore, is not a chaotic explosion of overwhelming information. It is a graceful, divinely orchestrated curriculum designed by you for you. You can trust the process. Your only job is to remain open, present, and willing. So here we stand, at the threshold of this infinite library within. We have quieted the outer world. We have tuned our bodies. We have cultivated a state of receptive stillness. The desire to remember is stirring in our hearts. We are ready to approach the librarian's desk and request the first volume. How do we make this request? How do we signal to our own deepest intelligence, in a language it will unmistakably understand, that the sacred reading is to begin? We do not need a complex ritual or an esoteric password. The universe, in its infinite elegance, has provided a master key that is both profoundly simple and immeasurably powerful. It is a key you have held since the moment of your birth, and one you will hold until the moment of your final release. It is a rhythm that unites your inner and outer worlds, a tool that is both physical and energetic, both unconscious and conscious. This master key, This bridge between mind and body, this sacred cadence that unlocks the first gate to the living library within you, is your own breath. The master key is in your hand. It has been there all along. It is the first gift you receive upon entering this world, and the last one you will surrender upon leaving. It is the breath. It is so constant, so automatic, so intimately familiar, that we have, as a species, forgotten its sanctity. We have mistaken the most profound and accessible spiritual tool we possess for a simple biological function. We have been taught that we breathe to live. The deeper truth is that we live to breathe. For in the conscious breath, we find the bridge, the meeting point between all worlds. To the awakened consciousness, breath is far more than the mechanical movement of air in and out of the lungs. It is the carrier wave of life force itself. It is what the ancient yogis of India called prana. It is the chi that flows through the meridians in the Taoist healing arts. It is the pneuma, or Holy Spirit, of the mystical Christian path. It is the invisible, intelligent energy that animates all of life. Breath is the rhythm that stitches the seen to the unseen. It is the gentle current that flows between the mind and the body, dissolving the illusion of their separation. It is the tangible link between your individual consciousness and the consciousness of the universe. Let us explore this with our metaphor of the ocean. Imagine that this universal field of life force, this prana, is a vast and limitless ocean. For most of your life, you have stood on the shore of this great ocean. You have felt the gentle foam of the waves washing over your feet. This is your automatic, shallow breathing. It keeps you alive, yes. It provides enough moisture to survive on the dry land of your ordinary, separated self. But you have never truly entered the water. You have never known the power, the depth, and the buoyant embrace of the ocean itself. Conscious breathing is the decision to walk into the water. It is the deliberate act of learning to swim, to dive, and to surf the very waves of creation. With each conscious inhalation, you are no longer just taking in air. You are drawing the potent, intelligent energy of the cosmic ocean deep into the core of your being. You are drinking in life itself. With each conscious exhalation, you are no longer just expelling carbon dioxide. You are releasing your personal story, your tension, your limitations, back into the vastness of the whole, to be dissolved and renewed. Each part of the breath is a sacred act. The inhalation is receptive, magnetic, feminine. It is the drawing in of universal potential. It is a physical act of saying a profound yes to life, to experience, to the present moment. The exhalation is an act of surrender, of release, of letting go. It is the masculine principle of action, of emptying out, of creating the sacred space for the new to arrive. And between these two, at the peak of the inhale and the valley of the exhale, are two mysterious gateways. These are the sacred pauses, the moments of perfect stillness where time seems to stop, where you touch the eternal now. In these motionless portals, the alchemy of the breath takes place. Let us now use this key. Let us unlock the first gate to the living library within you. I invite you to find a comfortable position with your spine relatively straight and gently close your eyes. For the first few moments, do not try to change your breath in any way. Simply become the silent witness to it. Observe it as you would observe the tide rising and falling. Feel the cool air enter your nostrils. Follow its path down your throat and into your lungs. Feel the gentle, subtle expansion of your chest and your belly. There is no need to force this. Your body knows how to breathe. Your only task is to be present with it. Now, witness the turning of the tide. The moment of surrender as the out-breath begins, releasing the air back into the world. Just watch this gentle, natural rhythm for a few moments. Now, we will add the element of conscious intention. This is what turns the breath from a simple biological function into a potent spiritual practice. This is what turns the key in the lock of the library. As you prepare to take your next inhalation, hold a silent intention in your mind. The intention can be simple. Perhaps it is, I breathe in pure healing energy. Or, I receive the wisdom of the universe. Now, breathe in, and as you do, feel that intention becoming a reality. Feel that you are truly drawing in not just air, but a luminous, intelligent light. Imagine this light flooding your entire body, pouring into every one of your trillions of cells, illuminating the sleeping crystalline scrolls of your DNA. At the top of the inhalation, just for a moment, pause. In this stillness, feel the light you have drawn in being fully received and integrated by your cells. Now, as you prepare to exhale, form another intention. Perhaps it is, I release all that no longer serves me. Or, I let go of fear and tension. As you exhale, feel these dense energies leaving your body with the breath. Imagine a gray smoke of old beliefs, anxieties, and exhaustion pouring out of you, dissolving into the atmosphere to be purified. You are not pushing it out, you are simply allowing it to leave. At the bottom of the exhalation, pause again in that sacred emptiness. In this stillness, feel the completeness of your release. Feel the clean, open space you have created within you. Let us continue this cycle together. Breathing in, receiving light, wisdom, and life force. Pausing at the top to integrate. Breathing out, releasing all that obscures your true nature. Pausing at the bottom in sweet surrender. With every conscious breath cycle, you are performing a profound act of spiritual alchemy. You are actively, consciously transforming dense, contracted energy into light, fluid, and coherent energy. You are literally changing the vibrational environment of your body. You are raising your frequency. This new frequency is the signal. Your DNA, that living, crystalline archive, is incredibly responsive to its environment. The coherent, rhythmic pattern of your conscious breath sends a powerful signal of safety, readiness, and alignment throughout your entire being. It is a vibrational knock on the door of the library. It is a clear and unmistakable message to the librarian, your higher self, that says, I am here, I am present in my temple, I am ready to read. The breath is the activation code. It awakens the dormant intelligence in your cells, preparing them to receive and transmit the information stored within the sacred texts of your own being. As you continue to breathe in this conscious, intentional way, allowing the rhythm to become slow, deep, and peaceful, you may begin to notice a subtle shift, a new sensation. A gentle vibration may begin to build within your chest, your hands, or throughout your entire body. The energy, the prana, that you are so beautifully drawing in and circulating is beginning to gather and concentrate. This energy is intelligent, it has a voice, it desires expression. Just as the wind moving through a perfectly carved flute creates a beautiful note, this life force, moving through the newly tuned instrument of your body, wants to create a sound. The breath is the silent carrier of the life force. The next step in our journey is to give that life force an audible voice, to use the very breath we have gathered as fuel for another, even more potent, key of activation. We have unlocked the first gate with the silent, golden key of breath. Now, we will explore how to use that very breath to turn the resonant, audible key of sound and begin the great and ancient work of vibrational alchemy. The breath has filled your temple with a living, potent energy. This prana now circulates within you, a silent river of light seeking expression. In the beginning, say the most ancient texts, was the Word. Before light, before form, there was a sound, a vibration, a single, resonant hum from which all of creation unfolded. This is not merely a creation myth. It is a description of the fundamental nature of reality. The universe is not made of things, it is made of music. Every star, every planet, every cell in your body is a frozen symphony, a chord held in a delicate, vibrating tension. We now arrive at the art of consciously playing that music. We arrive at the alchemy of sound. This principle, that sound creates form, is a truth understood by mystics for millennia, and now being rediscovered by science. The study of cymatics demonstrates this with breathtaking clarity. When a pure sound frequency is passed through a medium like water or fine sand on a plate, the particles, which were once in a chaotic state, instantly arrange themselves into intricate, perfectly ordered, geometric patterns. The higher the frequency, the more complex and beautiful the pattern. Now, consider the implications and let them shatter your perception of your own being. Your body is over 70% water. Your cells are filled with this highly responsive crystalline fluid. Your entire being is a cymatic plate waiting for a signal. What patterns do you think are being formed within you, moment to moment, by the sounds you are exposed to, and more profoundly, by the sounds you yourself create? Imagine the fluid reality within each of your cells as a collection of shimmering, energetic particles, like diamond dust suspended in water. When you immerse yourself in the chaotic, dissonant frequencies of the matrix, the angry voices on the news, the jarring alarms, the frantic and fearful conversations, these crystalline particles are shaken into disordered, stressful, and incoherent patterns. This is the biological signature of anxiety and disease. It is chaos at a cellular level. But when you introduce a pure, coherent, and intentional sound into your own system, a genuine miracle of alchemy occurs. The diamond dust of your cells begins to dance. It hears a note of truth, a frequency of home. It begins to self-organize. The chaos gives way to exquisite order. The particles arrange themselves into the very patterns of life itself. The hexagonal geometry of a honeycomb, the spiral of a galaxy, the crystalline structure of a snowflake. With your own voice, you are commanding the chaos within you into a state of divine harmony. You are singing your world into being. Let us explore the tools of this ancient art. The most fundamental and accessible of these is the practice of toning. It is the sounding of pure vowels, the foundational bricks of all language. Vowels are open, resonant, and carry the core frequencies of creation, unburdened by the complexity of consonants. Each vowel has a unique vibrational signature and resonates with different energy centers in the body. I invite you to experience this now. Take a deep, conscious breath, drawing in the life force as you have learned. And on the exhalation, simply release a long, low, and open ah sound. Make it gentle, like a sigh of relief. Ah. Feel the vibration. Do not just hear it with your ears, feel it with your entire body. You will likely feel this sound resonating deep in your chest and your heart center. This is the sound of opening, of compassion, of acceptance. It is the sound of the heart. Now, take another breath, and this time, on the exhale, create a long, sustained ooh sound, like the vowel in the word who. Ooh. Feel where this sound vibrates. It is often lower, in your belly, your solar plexus, and your pelvis. This is a sound of grounding, of depth, of connecting with your power. Finally, take one more deep breath and release a high, bright E sound, as in the word see. E. Feel this frequency. It is much higher. You will feel it buzzing in your throat, your sinuses, your jaw, and the very top of your head. This is the sound of clearing, of insight, of breaking up old, stagnant energy. By practicing toning, you are giving your body a vibrational massage from the inside out. You are using pure sound to shake loose the stored, dense energies of old emotions and to retune your cellular structure to a state of coherence and health. Ancient cultures understood this principle profoundly. They refined it into the science of mantra. A mantra is a series of sacred sounds, words, or phrases that are charged with a specific energetic blueprint. The power of a mantra, like the famous Om or Aum, lies not just in its philosophical meaning, but in its precise vibratory structure. When you chant a mantra, either aloud or internally, you are striking a cosmic tuning fork and holding it to the entire system of your being. Through the law of resonance, every cell in your body, every particle of your energy field is entrained to the harmonious, healing frequency of that specific sound. It is a powerful method for overriding the chaotic broadcasts of the mind and installing a new divine frequency. Perhaps the most constant and overlooked form of sound alchemy you perform is through the words you speak every day. Every word you utter is a sound form, a vibrational command that ripples out into the universe and simultaneously sinks deep into your own cellular structure. Your words are a continuous creative or destructive act. When you repeatedly say, "I am so stressed," you are chanting a mantra of stress. You are using the creative power of sound to instruct your body to produce the biochemistry of stress, and you are instructing the universe to arrange circumstances that match that vibration. When you declare, "This is impossible," you are casting a spell of impossibility, crystallizing the energy around you into a pattern of limitation. This is why becoming conscious of your language is a critical part of this journey. Every word matters. Your words are the brushstrokes with which you paint your reality. Begin to choose them with the care of a master artist. Speak words that affirm what you wish to create. Speaking the words, "I am learning and growing," creates a completely different cellular pattern than speaking the words, "I am failing." The phrase, "I am grateful," is one of the most powerful mantras you can use, for it tunes your entire being to the frequency of abundance and grace. Your language is your daily, hourly, moment-to-moment practice of sound alchemy. Yet, sound does not work alone. Its power is magnified by its partner, silence. Sound is the active, creative force, the divine masculine principle that projects energy into the world. Silence is the receptive, potentiating field, the divine feminine principle that gestates and gives birth to creation. One cannot have its full power without the other. The true alchemist knows that the impact of a sound is determined by the depth of the silence from which it emerges. After a period of toning or chanting, do not immediately rush back into the noise of your day. This is a crucial mistake. Instead, sit for several minutes in the ringing silence that follows. This is where the deepest magic happens. Feel the vibrations continuing to work on you, to reorganize your energy field, to settle the crystalline particles of your cells into their new harmonious patterns. This afterglow, this resonant echo in the stillness, is the integration phase. It is the alchemical process completing itself. As you continue this practice, using your voice as an instrument of healing and creation, you will notice something remarkable about the patterns that emerge. The sense of order that you feel, the coherent structures that are being formed by the sound within the fluid medium of your body are not random. They are familiar. The hexagonal structures, the spirals, the star-like forms, they are the fundamental building blocks of life. Sound is not imposing a foreign order upon you. It is awakening an order that is already inherent within your design. It is revealing the fundamental, silent architecture of your own being. It is uncovering the sacred geometry of your own creation. The sound has done its work. It has sent a wave of coherence through the fluid reality of your being, calming the chaos and calling the scattered particles of your energy into a state of divine order. This order, this harmony, has a structure. As the vibrations of your own voice settle, you begin to perceive the silent architecture they have revealed. This architecture is not made of words or concepts. It is made of pure, living geometry. This is the native tongue of the universe, the blueprint upon which light, matter, and consciousness are woven into the tapestry of existence. Before you dismiss this as an abstract idea, simply open your eyes to the world. Look at the perfect, six-fold symmetry of a single snowflake, a frozen testament to water's memory of divine order. Look at the spiraling arrangement of seeds in a sunflower head, a perfect mathematical expression of the most efficient way to grow. Witness the logarithmic spiral of a nautilus shell, the branching patterns of a lightning bolt, a river delta, and the very veins in your own hand. This is not a series of coincidences. This is the universe whispering its design principles to you. It is showing you its sacred alphabet. These are not just lifeless patterns, they are intelligences. Each geometric form holds a specific quality of consciousness. The spiral holds the frequency of evolution and expansion. The sphere holds the frequency of unity and inclusion. The straight line holds the frequency of intention and direction. Now, take this profound truth and turn it inward. The same universal laws that structure galaxies and grow trees are the very laws that structure your own energy field. These patterns are the invisible scaffolding upon which your physical and subtle bodies are built. The double helix of your DNA, the very keeper of your biological code, is a sacred spiral. The energy centers of your body, your chakras, are not simply blobs of color. They are spinning vortexes of intricate geometric light. To awaken the language of light is to become fluent in this inner language of form and pattern. Let us explore some of these foundational forms, not as two-dimensional drawings in a book, but as living, breathing, energetic structures within your own being. Let us begin with the most primary form of all, the sphere, the shape of a single cell, of an egg from which life emerges, of a planet, of a star. It is the shape of unity, of wholeness, of inclusion. It has no beginning and no end. I invite you to bring your awareness to the center of your chest, to your heart space. Imagine there a radiant, pulsating sphere of soft, warm light. With every in-breath, feel this sphere grow brighter, more vibrant. With every out-breath, feel it radiating that light throughout your entire body. Simply resting your attention on this inner sphere connects you to the deep, unshakable truth of your own completeness. In this moment, nothing is missing. You are whole. From this unity, creation begins through relationship. Imagine a second, identical sphere of light overlapping the first. The almond-shaped portal that is created where they intersect is a sacred symbol known as the Vesica Piscis. It is the womb of creation, the gateway through which the unmanifest becomes manifest. It represents the harmonious union of opposites, spirit and matter, heaven and earth, light and dark, masculine and feminine. It is the geometry of divine relationship. Visualizing this form in your heart can begin to heal the illusion of separation you feel between yourself and others, between you and the world, between you and God. As this process of loving union continues, the geometry begins to grow, to blossom like a flower. The spheres continue to multiply according to this sacred law of creation, creating the breathtakingly intricate and harmonious pattern known as the flower of life. You have seen this image carved into the walls of ancient temples across the globe. It is not a decoration. It is a blueprint. It is the energetic field of connection, demonstrating how every single life form is intricately and beautifully interwoven with every other. It is the pattern of the unified field. Visualizing this luminous floral grid emanating from your heart and encompassing your entire being is a powerful way to remember your connection to all that is. You are not a solitary wave. You are a part of the entire interconnected ocean. Within this unified field exists a specific geometry for personal consciousness, a vehicle for stabilizing your energy and traveling between dimensions of awareness. This is often called the Merkaba, or the star tetrahedron. Imagine two three-sided pyramids, or tetrahedrons, made of pure light. One points up towards the heavens, connecting you to the universal, spiritual source. The other points down towards the earth, grounding you in your physical body and this planetary existence. Now, imagine them interlocked, merged together at your core, creating a beautiful three-dimensional six-pointed star of light that surrounds your entire body. Let us not just think about this form, let us activate it. As you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, bring your awareness to this star of light surrounding you. Feel the upward-pointing tetrahedron as a connection to your infinite, eternal self. Feel the downward-pointing tetrahedron as a connection to your human, earthly self. With your intention, which is a powerful command in the world of energy, gently invite this field to begin to spin. Imagine the top tetrahedron spinning clockwise, and the bottom one spinning counterclockwise. Slowly at first. Do not strain or try to force it. Simply hold the intention and allow it to happen. Your consciousness is the motor. Feel the subtle acceleration. As this light body vehicle, your Merkaba, begins to spin, you will feel a profound sense of stability and empowerment. You are creating a coherent, resonant field around you that strengthens your connection to both spirit and earth. It is a shield of light that makes you less susceptible to the chaotic, dissonant energies of the outside world. It is an engine of consciousness that raises your personal frequency and accelerates your spiritual growth. Activating this geometry is a declaration to the universe that you are ready to be a conscious bridge between heaven and earth. These geometries are resonant keys. They are tuning forks that, when activated, awaken specific dormant capacities within the living library of your DNA. Meditating on the universal pattern of the flower of life can enhance your feelings of empathy and unconditional love. Activating your personal Merkaba field can heighten your intuition, clarify your purpose, and stabilize your emotions. You are not imposing these forms upon yourself. You are simply waking them up. You are remembering the fundamental, silent, and exquisitely beautiful architecture of your own soul. As these crystalline structures of light begin to hum and glow and spin within you, they act like powerful, energetic antennae. They begin to resonate with information that is encoded not only within your own DNA, but within the vast memory field of the Earth, the solar system, and the cosmos itself. You may begin to experience things your rational mind cannot explain. A sudden, deep affinity for an ancient culture you have never studied. A profound sense of nostalgia when you look at a particular constellation in the night sky. A deep, intuitive understanding of a law of nature. This is because these geometries are timeless. They are older than your personality, older than your body, older than the story of this single life. They are the carriers of a memory that is not just personal, but collective and cosmic. They are the gateways that allow your individual consciousness to tap into the vast, flowing river of universal memory. The sacred geometries are spinning. Your energetic field is alive, resonant, coherent. Through these newly awakened portals of light and form, something new begins to flow. It is not a sensation you can easily name. It is a current of information, a stream of feeling, an intuition that seems to have no origin in your present life. You have entered the river of memory. We are taught to believe that we are the sum total of our experiences in this single lifetime. Your identity, you have been told, is a story that begins with your birth and will end with your death. This story, your personal history, with all its triumphs and traumas, is what you call me. This story is true, but it is a single chapter in an epic novel. To believe this chapter is the entire book is the great amnesia of the human condition. To awaken is to begin to remember the other chapters. Imagine that your personal life story, everything you can consciously recall from this incarnation, is a single drop of water. This drop is precious. It has a unique history, a unique temperature, a unique trajectory. For its entire existence, it has known itself only as a drop. It believes it is fragile, separate, and defined by its own small journey. Now, imagine, this drop falls from a leaf and merges with a vast, cosmic ocean. This ocean is the totality of your soul's experience across all dimensions, all timelines, all of existence. This ocean is the river of memory. This river contains the wisdom of every lifetime you have ever lived on this planet and elsewhere. It holds the memory of being a man, a woman, a healer, a warrior, a priestess, a farmer. It holds the memories of the earth itself, passed up to you through the ancestral lines whose DNA flows in your very veins. And in its deepest, most silent currents, it holds the starlight memories of your soul's existence before it ever chose to enter the grand experiment of human form. The process of spiritual awakening is the moment the drop of you realizes it is not separate from the ocean, It is the ocean, experiencing itself as a single drop. Activating the library of your DNA is the process of dissolving the membrane of that drop, allowing the wisdom, the power, and the healed memory of the entire ocean to become available to you, right here, right now. How does this river make itself known? You have already felt its currents, even if you did not have a name for them. Have you ever felt a deep, inexplicable pull towards a certain place on Earth, a particular historical era, or a specific culture you have never known? A sense of homesickness for a land you have never visited? Or perhaps you have an irrational fear of deep water, of fire, of being abandoned that has no logical root in the events of this life. These are not random quirks of your personality. These are echoes from the river. They are sent memories from another lifetime, another story within the ocean of your soul, sending ripples into the pond of your present moment. Consider the phenomenon of the child prodigy who plays the piano with the mastery of a lifetime at the age of 5. Or consider your own innate talents and passions. A natural gift for gardening, a deep sense of peace in the mountains, a remarkable ability to calm a frightened animal, a wisdom in your counsel that seems to come from a place far older than you are. You have been taught to believe these are skills you are developing from scratch. The truth is, you are remembering. You are not learning. You are reactivating a mastery that already exists within the ocean of your consciousness. You are accessing the expertise of another drop, another lifetime that is also a part of your whole. And what of soul recognitions? The profound and often unsettling experience of meeting someone for the first time and feeling an instantaneous, deep, and undeniable connection. A feeling that you know them on a level that defies logic. You do. Your souls, two currents in the great river of memory, are recognizing each other. You have flowed together before, perhaps as lovers, as enemies, as parent and child, as teacher and student. The story is not important. The recognition is everything. It is the universe reminding you that you are never truly alone, and that your connections run far deeper than this single, shared lifetime. The purpose of opening to this river of memory is not to become lost in the past. It is a trap of the ego to want to indulge in romantic fantasies about being a famous historical figure, or to use past life dramas as an excuse for present-day behavior. That is simply creating a new, more elaborate story for the drop to cling to. The true purpose is reclamation. It is about consciously drawing the wisdom, the strength, and the healed energy of those experiences into your present moment to serve your life now. If you have a memory echo of being a wise herbalist, the purpose is not to dwell on that life, but to reclaim your innate connection to plant wisdom to nourish your body today. If you have a sense of having endured great persecution with immense courage, the purpose is to call upon that very courage to face your current challenges with grace. Let us, for a moment, approach this sacred river, not with the demanding mind that wants to see a movie of its past lives, but with the humble heart that simply wishes to receive nourishment. In your quiet, meditative state, hold the gentle intention. I am willing to receive the strength and wisdom from my greater self that serves my highest good at this time. Now, imagine yourself standing on the bank of a vast, shimmering river made of liquid light. This is your soul's timeline. You do not need to see specific scenes. Simply extend your energetic hand and dip it into the water. What is the quality you feel? Is it strength? Is it peace? Is it boundless creativity? Is it unshakable courage? Is it profound, unconditional love? Whatever quality presents itself, simply receive it. Invite that essence to flow from the river into your hand, up your arm, and into your heart center. You are not reliving an old story. You are integrating its virtue. You are drinking the pure, nourishing water from the ocean of your own magnificent being. But this river of memory is vast, and it contains the totality of your experience. It contains the light, the wisdom, and the mastery. And it also carries the echoes of unhealed wounds, the currents of ancient sorrows, the memory of vows of poverty or silence made lifetimes ago that still unconsciously bind you. It holds the energetic signature of every trauma that was never fully resolved. As you begin to open to this flow, you may find that not only gifts surface, but also shadows. A persistent, free-floating sadness with no apparent cause in your current life. A recurring, painful pattern of betrayal or abandonment in your relationships. A deep-seated, seemingly baseless feeling of unworthiness that no amount of success in this life can seem to heal. These are not new problems. These are old currents in the river finally coming to the surface, asking to be met with the light of your present-day consciousness. They are not punishments or curses. They are invitations. They are ancient parts of you, asking to finally come home, to be healed and integrated into the whole. To truly drink from this river, to truly become the ocean, we cannot pick and choose only the sweet water. We must be willing to engage with the bitter as well. We must find the courage to face the parts of our greater story that have been cast into darkness, that have been fragmented and lost. Our journey now leads us into the sacred and necessary work of meeting the shadow, not as an enemy to be vanquished, but as a wounded messenger of light, carrying a gift in its hands. The river of memory carries everything to the shore of your awareness. It brings the shimmering treasures of forgotten strengths and ancient wisdom. And, inevitably, it also brings the driftwood of old sorrows, the dark, heavy stones of ancient wounds, the murky water of unresolved pain. It brings the shadow. And here we arrive at one of the most profound and courageous stages of the spiritual journey. We have been taught a great lie, a lie that has caused immense suffering. We have been taught that to be spiritual is to be good, to be positive, to live only in the light, and to deny, suppress, or conquer the darkness within us. This is not the path to enlightenment. It is the path to fragmentation. To be whole, you must be willing to be whole. And that means you must be willing to turn and face the darkness you have spent a lifetime running from. What is this shadow? It is not an evil entity hiding within you. It is not an enemy. The shadow is, quite simply, the collection of all the parts of yourself that you have disowned. At some point in your early life, or perhaps in the echo of another lifetime, you were taught that certain aspects of your authentic being were unacceptable. Your raw, righteous anger was labeled bad. Your tender, intelligent fear was called weak. Your wild, untamed creativity was too much. Your profound sadness was deemed inconvenient or dramatic. And so, to survive, to be loved, to belong, you made a choice. You took these vital, living parts of your own soul, locked them in the cellar of your subconscious, and tried to forget they ever existed. But nothing can be destroyed. It can only be transformed. These exiled parts of your life force did not die in the darkness. Instead, left unfed by the light of your conscious love and acceptance, they became distorted. They grew feral. Your disowned anger festered into bitter resentment or passive aggression. Your disowned fear mutated into chronic anxiety. Your disowned need for love twisted into desperate people-pleasing. The shadow is not what you are, it is what you have tried not to be. And the energy it takes to keep these powerful parts of yourself locked away is the source of the deep, inexplicable fatigue that plagues so many awakening souls. You are waging a constant, exhausting civil war within your own kingdom. Let us work with a new metaphor, a metaphor of power and reclamation. Imagine that each of these disowned parts, your rage, your grief, your shame, your terrorists, a fierce and magnificent dragon chained in the dungeon of your soul. For years, you have known only the terrifying sounds from below the rattling chains, the plumes of smoke, the terrifying roars that echo up into your conscious life as anxiety, depression, and self-sabotage. Your strategy has been to reinforce the door, to numb the sounds with distraction, to pretend the dungeon doesn't exist. But what you have not known is that these dragons are not monsters. They are guardians, and each one is guarding a treasure of immense value. The rage dragon, in its fiery fury, is guarding the treasure of your personal power, your sacred no, your ability to set powerful boundaries, and your passion for justice. The fear dragon, in its trembling vigilance, is guarding the treasure of your intuition, your primal wisdom, your ability to sense danger, and your need to be truly safe. The grief dragon, in its deep well of sorrow, is guarding the treasure of your open heart, your capacity for profound compassion, and your connection to all of life. The shame dragon is guarding the treasure of your humility, your authenticity, and your ability to be exquisitely, vulnerably, humanly present with another. The path of the warrior of the light is not to descend into the dungeon with a sword to slay these dragons. That is the path of the ego, the path of endless inner conflict. You cannot kill a part of yourself. The path of the alchemist of the heart is to walk down the stone steps, not with a sword, but with a lantern, the lantern of your own loving, courageous awareness. It is to approach the terrifying dragon, not with aggression, but with reverence. It is to sit down before it, to look it in the eye, and to ask with genuine sincerity, what is it that you are here to protect? What is the gift that you hold for me? What is it that you have needed from me all these years? This is the sacred work of shadow integration. It is the bravest work a human being can do. Let us, very gently, approach the gateway to this work now. Find your still point. Ground yourself in the feeling of your body, the temple that holds everything. Know that you are safe, that you are held by your own higher self, and that you will only be shown what you are truly ready to heal. Now, I invite you to gently bring to mind a recurring difficult emotion or pattern in your life. Perhaps it is a persistent, low-grade anxiety. Perhaps it is a flash of anger that feels disproportionate to a situation. Perhaps it is a deep, familiar ache of unworthiness. Do not get lost in the story behind it. For this moment, just invite the pure feeling, the energetic signature of this shadow, to make itself known. Where does it live in your body? Is it a tightness in your jaw? A fire in the pit of your stomach? A cold emptiness in your chest? Without judgment, simply allow it to be there. Give it a shape, a color, a texture in your mind's eye. This is how you begin to see the dragon. Now, from your heart, from the seat of the witness, silently send it a message. The first message is simply, I see you. I am no longer willing to pretend you are not here. I am willing to be with you. Feel the shift that this simple acknowledgement creates. The second message is one of radical appreciation. Silently say, thank you. Thank you for the immense energy you have expended trying to protect me. I recognize now that everything you have ever done, you have done out of a distorted desire to keep me safe. This is a profoundly disarming act. The dragon, who has only ever known resistance and rejection, feels your acceptance for the first time. The third step is to ask the sacred question. What is the wisdom you have for me? What is the treasure you are guarding? And then you listen. Do not listen with your mind, waiting for a neat, intellectual answer. Listen with your whole body. The answer may come as a flood of tears that have been held back for decades. That is the treasure of your grief being released. The answer may come as a jolt of energy up your spine. That is the treasure of your power being reclaimed. The answer may come as a single whispered word in your heart. Rest, boundaries, truth. Speak, simply receive whatever comes without needing to analyze it. You are not having a conversation. You are having a communion. When you shine the light of your loving, non-judgmental awareness onto a shadow part, it begins a miraculous transformation. The feral, terrifying dragon, finally seen, heard, and honored, begins to relax. Its fiery scales soften. It begins to trust you, and it uncoils its great tail from around the treasure chest it has been guarding so fiercely. It allows you to reclaim the trapped, frozen life force. The immense energy that was being consumed by the internal war is now liberated, available to you to use for creation, for joy, for purpose, for love. You are not getting rid of the shadow. You are integrating its power. The dragon does not disappear. It becomes your most powerful and loyal ally. This work of shadow integration is the most direct path to wholeness. Each time you journey into the dungeon and return with another piece of your lost soul, you become more complete, more solid, more real. And what happens as you become more whole? The need for armor lessens. The ego, the false self, built its fortress walls out of the very rejected stones of your fear, your shame, and your anger. When you befriend the rage dragon, you no longer need the brittle armor of aggression or the damp dungeon of passive aggression. When you embrace the wisdom of the fear dragon, you no longer need the rigid armor of control. When you have compassion for the shame dragon, you no longer need the exhausting armor of perfectionism. With every piece of shadow you lovingly integrate, a piece of this psychological armor naturally, effortlessly, dissolves and falls away. The journey now calls us to consciously examine this armor of identity itself, this constructed self you have mistaken for who you are, and to experience the profound, terrifying, and exhilarating liberation of finally letting it go. The work of shadow integration is an act of profound alchemy. With each dragon you befriend, with each lost part of your soul you welcome home, a plate of heavy, ill-fitting armor falls away from your being. The war within begins to quiet, and you feel a new sense of wholeness. We now arrive at the task of consciously examining the armor itself, the very structure of the identity you have called me for your entire life. For it is this armor, this carefully constructed persona, that stands as the final gatekeeper, preventing the full, radiant flood of the language of light from permeating your existence. What is this armor? It is the ego. It is the story of you. It is your name. It is your profession, your accomplishments, your failures. It is your role as a parent, a child, a spouse, a friend. It is your collection of memories, your political affiliations, your opinions on art, music, and philosophy. It is your physical appearance. It is the entire constellation of labels and stories that you have gathered and identified with, creating the character you play in the world. This armor was not forged in malice. It was forged in the fires of necessity. As a soft, formless, and infinitely open child, you needed a way to navigate the dense, complex world of human society. You needed a name to be called by, a personality to be recognized by, a set of beliefs to feel safe and to belong. The armor was a brilliant strategy for survival. But now, imagine this. Imagine that you are a knight who, as a child, began to don this suit of armor piece by piece. First, the small breastplate of your name. Then, the pauldrons of your family's expectations. Then, the heavy greaves of your education and your career. Then, the intricate gauntlets of your skills and talents. And finally, the heavy helmet of your belief system, complete with a narrow slit through which to see the world. For years you have worn this armor, day and night. You have worn it for so long that you have forgotten the feeling of your own skin. You have forgotten the soft, vulnerable, living body inside. You have come to believe that you are the armor. But the armor, which once protected you, has now become a prison. It is heavy. The sheer effort of carrying this constructed identity around every single day is the source of a deep and pervasive exhaustion. It is rigid. It locks you into predictable patterns of behavior and reaction, preventing you from responding to life with fresh, spontaneous creativity. And most tragically, it is isolating. The armor that was meant to keep you safe also keeps you from being truly touched. You cannot feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, only the heat of the metal. You cannot feel a gentle breeze, only the rattling of your own defenses. You cannot receive a true embrace, for others can only hug your cold, hard exterior. And the language of light, the subtle, high-frequency whispers of your soul and of the universe, cannot penetrate the dense steel of your fixed identity. They simply bounce off, unheard. The spiritual journey, at its heart, is the courageous and vulnerable process of unbuckling this armor, piece by piece, and letting it fall to the ground. It is the process of disidentification. It is the dawning realization that you are not the armor, You are the one who is wearing it. How is this done? Not by force. You cannot fight the armor, for that is the armor fighting itself. It is done through the gentle, persistent light of awareness. It is done by seeing the armor as armor. Let us begin this sacred process of undoing right now with a series of profound realizations. First, realize this. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts, as we have discovered, are largely the broadcast of the matrix of noise or the echoes of old conditioning. They are clouds passing through the vast sky of your awareness. The armor, the ego, believes it is the cloud. It identifies with every passing thought, especially the negative ones, weaving them into its story of self. Your true nature is not the cloud. You are the silent, spacious, ever-present sky in which all thoughts arise and dissolve. Let the armor of your opinions and judgments begin to loosen. Second, realize this. You are not your emotions. Your emotions are like weather patterns moving through your being. A storm of anger, a fog of sadness, a sunny spell of joy. They are temporary, energetic events. The armor clings to them, defining itself by them. I am an angry person. I am a sad person. Your true nature is not the weather. You are the deep, silent ocean, unstained and unmoved by the waves on the surface. Allow yourself to feel emotions fully without becoming them. Let the armor of your emotional identity begin to melt. Third, realize this. You are not your body. This is a subtle one. You are not the physical form. You are the loving consciousness that inhabits and animates the form. You are the life that feels the sensations of the body. The armor is deeply identified with the body, its appearance, its age, its health. It lives in constant fear of the body's eventual decay. Your true nature, the light of awareness that you are, is timeless and formless. Let the armor of your physical identity become transparent. And finally, the largest and heaviest piece of all. You are not your story, your past, your wounds, your triumphs, a narrative, a collection of memories stored in the mind and body. It is a beautiful, tragic, heroic story, but it is not you. The armor is built entirely from the metal of this story. Your true nature is the silent, spacious presence in which the story is being told. You are the page, not the words written upon it. As you gently and repeatedly practice this disidentification from your thoughts, your emotions, your body, and your story, what remains? When you are not the armor, who are you? What is left is a feeling, a sense of pure being, a silent, peaceful, knowing presence. This is the truth of you. It is the I am that exists before any label is added to it. I am before I am John. I am before I am a doctor. I am before I am successful, or I am a failure. It is the raw, untamed, luminous consciousness that is your essence. This is the being that wears the armor. Resting in this space of pure presence is true freedom. The weight is gone. The exhausting need to defend a position, to prove your worth, to maintain an image, simply dissolves. There is nothing to defend. The act of letting the armor go can feel terrifying. It is an act of supreme vulnerability. The ego, the night, will scream that without its protection, you will be annihilated, that you will be nothing. Let it scream. It is the sound of the old, rusted buckles giving way. And then, after the fear, comes the liberation. The feeling of the first true touch of sunlight on your bare skin. The first full, unrestricted breath that fills your lungs. The first authentic, heart-to-heart connection with another human being, no longer mediated by the cold metal of your respective defenses. It is in this open, undefended state that you become a perfect receiver for the language of light. It can now flow into you and through you without obstruction. As you let go of the rigid mental identity of the head, your center of energetic gravity naturally begins to drop. It descends from the citadel of the intellect, the throne room of the ego's story. As the heavy, ornate breastplate, of your constructed personality melts away, a new center of intelligence is uncovered. A center that was there all along, beating quietly and patiently beneath the steel. It is a center that does not think in words, but knows through feeling. It does not calculate, it resonates. It does not operate through logic, but through the profound, unifying intelligence of love. This is the intelligence of the heart. Having begun to dissolve the armor of the mind, we now arrive at the radiant, inexhaustible power source of our being, the quantum field of the heart. The fortress of the mind has been opened. The heavy, creaking armor of your constructed identity lies at your feet. In the silence and stillness that follows this great surrender, a profound shift occurs. Your center of awareness, which for so long has been held captive in the lofty citadel of the head, begins a gentle, graceful descent. It is a journey of a mere 18 inches, from your mind to your chest, but it is the longest and most transformative journey a human being can ever take. You are coming home to the heart. For your entire life, you have been trained to privilege the intelligence of the head. The mind is a magnificent tool, a brilliant processor of information. It thinks. It analyzes, categorizes, calculates, and remembers. It operates on the principle of duality, separating the world into good and bad, right and wrong, past and future. It constructs logical arguments and builds elaborate systems. But the mind has a fundamental limitation. It can only work with what it already knows. It is a closed system, endlessly rearranging the furniture in a room it can never leave. It can be a brilliant strategist, but it can never be a true creator, for all true creation comes from the unknown. The heart offers a completely different mode of intelligence. The heart does not think. It knows. It does not analyze. It synthesizes. It does not operate on logic, but on resonance. Its language is not words, but feelings. Its perception is not linear, but holistic. While the mind separates, the heart unifies. It is your built-in portal to the unified field, your biological gateway to a wisdom that transcends the boundaries of your personal experience. To move from head-centered awareness to heart-centered awareness is to move from knowing about life to experiencing life directly. This is not just the beautiful language of poets and mystics. Modern science, in its ever-deepening exploration of the human body, is now beginning to map the very truths that ancient traditions have always known. Researchers have discovered that the physical heart is far more than a simple pump. It is a sophisticated sensory, processing, and information encoding center. They have found that the heart generates an electromagnetic field that is 60 times greater in amplitude and up to 5,000 times stronger than the field produced by the brain. This field, shaped like a torus or a donut, radiates from your chest and extends several feet out from your body in all directions. It is a field of communication. You are, right now, constantly broadcasting your emotional state into the space around you, and you are constantly receiving information from the fields of others. Even more astonishingly, scientists have identified a network of around 40,000 neurons in the heart, a complex and sophisticated network that has led them to call it the heart brain. This brain in your chest can sense, feel, learn, and remember independently of the brain in your head. It sends far more information up to the cranial brain than the cranial brain sends down to it. That gut feeling, that intuitive hit, that sense of knowing something without knowing how you know it, this is the intelligence of your heart brain speaking to you. Let us return to our metaphor of the computer. If the brain in your head is a supercomputer, a magnificent machine capable of processing vast amounts of data already stored on its hard drive, then the heart is the quantum Wi-Fi. It is your living, biological connection to the cosmic internet, the unified field of information, the mind of God. The brain can Google what is already known within its own database. The heart has a direct, real-time, broadband connection to the source of all knowledge, all creativity, and all love. The process of activating your light body is the process of turning on this quantum Wi-Fi and learning to trust its signal over the noise of the old, limited operating system of the egoic mind. How do we do this? How do we consciously activate this field and tune into its profound wisdom? The key is an elegant and beautiful technology that is built into your very being. It is the technology of heart coherence. Let us enter this sacred practice together now. First, bring your awareness physically into your heart space. You can even place the palm of your hand gently over the center of your chest. This simple physical touch is a powerful act of intention. It sends a message from your peripheral nervous system to your brain and heart saying, "Pay attention here. We are focusing our energy now." Now, begin to breathe as if you are breathing directly in and out of your heart center. Imagine a soft, luminous passageway opening in the center of your chest. As you inhale, visualize the breath flowing into this space, nourishing and softening your heart. As you exhale, imagine the breath flowing back out from your heart, carrying its gentle energy into the world. Let your breath become slow, rhythmic, and easy. A 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale. There is no strain. You are simply breathing with your heart. This heart-focused breathing begins to calm your nervous system. Now, we will add the alchemical ingredient that truly activates the field. We will consciously generate a regenerative emotion. Let us begin with the powerful frequency of gratitude. Do not just think about what you are grateful for as a mental list. Instead, actively invoke and embody the feeling of appreciation. Bring to mind the face of a person you love deeply and unconditionally. Picture their smile. Bring to mind a beloved pet and feel the simple, pure joy of their presence. Or recall a time you stood in a place of stunning natural beauty, a forest, a mountaintop, the ocean shore end, felt a sense of profound awe and gratitude for being alive. Choose one of these memories and allow yourself to truly re-experience the feeling it generated. Let that warm, expansive feeling of sincere appreciation blossom in your heart center. Let it fill your entire chest. Breathe with it. Marinate in it. This feeling is not just an emotion, it is a measurable, coherent frequency. As you sustain this feeling of gratitude, the rhythm of your physical heart begins to change. It shifts from a chaotic, jagged, incoherent pattern into a smooth, orderly, harmonious sine wave pattern. This is the measurable state of heart-brain coherence. In this state, your entire physiology comes into alignment. Your hormonal system releases life-enhancing chemistry. Your immune system is boosted. Your mind becomes calm and clear. But something even more profound is happening on a quantum level. In this state of coherence, your heart's electromagnetic field becomes a powerful, orderly, and exquisitely sensitive antenna. It is now perfectly tuned to receive the subtle, high-frequency transmissions of the language of light. The light codes that are stored in your DNA, the guidance that is broadcast from your higher self, the wisdom that permeates the unified field. All of this information can now be received without distortion. But the heart has a unique and vital role. It is the great translator. It does not receive this information as English words, as mathematical formulas, or as logical propositions. That is the job of the brain. The heart's job is to translate the pure, high-frequency vibrations of light into the only language it truly understands, the language of pure feeling, of direct knowing. This is a critical point to understand. An incoming light code that carries the frequency of safety is not translated by the heart into the thought, "I am safe." It is translated into a profound, cellular feeling of deep peace that washes over your entire being. An incoming code related to your soul's purpose is not translated into a detailed 10-point plan. It is translated into a sudden, unshakable feeling of clarity and a powerful, intuitive pull towards a certain direction. A transmission about your connection to the divine is not received as a theological treatise. It is received as a wave of overwhelming, unconditional love that may bring you to tears. This is gnosis, direct, intuitive, self-validating knowing. It bypasses the analytical mind entirely. It is a felt truth. The heart is the organ of gnosis. It is the seat of the soul's perception. When you learn to live from a coherent heart, you begin to navigate your life not by the loud, fearful calculations of the ego, but by the quiet, clear, and unwavering compass of your heart's intuitive feeling intelligence. You learn to trust the feeling. You learn to trust the resonance. You learn to trust the deep, quiet peace that signals alignment, and the subtle, uncomfortable dissonance that signals you have strayed from your path. The heart, then, is the primary translator, converting the pure, abstract vibrations of light into the rich, embodied language of feeling. But this powerful center does not work in isolation. It works in tandem with all parts of your consciousness, including the deep, receptive, imaginative mind. Once the heart has received and translated the essence of a transmission into a feeling state, it often relays this now embodied wisdom upward to the mind. But it does not send it as a dry, logical report. It offers it up in the mind's own native, non-linear tongue. It presents the information in the form of potent images, resonant metaphors, and living allegories. It speaks to you through the vivid, symbolic theater of your nightly dreams and through the startling, meaningful poetry of real-world synchronicity. To continue our journey of understanding this communication from the soul, we must now learn to decipher this beautiful, mysterious, and deeply personal language of symbology and dreams. The heart has spoken. It has received the pure data of light and translated it into the rich, undeniable language of feeling. You now have a direct, embodied sense of your own truth, a compass of gnosis that operates beyond the realm of logic. But the journey of communication from the soul does not end there. The heart, having grounded the transmission in feeling, now offers this wisdom up to the conscious mind, not as a command, but as a gift. It does not use the mind's preferred language of linear, structured prose. To do so would be to limit an infinite truth to a finite form. Instead, it uses the mind's oldest and most profound dialect, the language of the symbol. This is the language of your soul. It is the mother tongue of your subconscious and the celestial grammar of your higher self. It is a language of images, of metaphors, of meaningful coincidences, and of dreams. We have been conditioned to dismiss this language as primitive, as nonsensical, as the random firings of a resting brain. In truth, it is an infinitely more sophisticated and efficient mode of communication than words could ever be. A single word has a limited definition. A single, living symbol can contain whole universes of meaning, feeling, and information, tailored perfectly to the one who perceives it. To learn to read your own symbolic language is to learn to read the personal mail being delivered to you daily from the desk of your own soul. Imagine the universe is constantly trying to communicate with you. The rational mind is waiting for a typed letter, a clear and unambiguous email spelling everything out. But the universe does not work that way. Instead, it sends you picture postcards, rich with imagery and feeling. It sends you poems written in the flight of a bird, stories told in the arrangement of clouds. If you are only looking for the written letter, you will believe you are receiving no mail at all. Our task now is to learn how to read these beautiful, mysterious postcards. We will explore the three primary channels through which this symbolic language flows: the night theater of your dreams, the waking dream of synchronicity, and the quiet flashes of inner vision. Let us begin with the most ancient and immersive channel, your dreams. Each night, when you surrender to sleep, you are not simply going unconscious. You are entering the great workshop of your soul. Your conscious ego, the gatekeeper, steps aside, and the vast intelligence of your deeper mind is free to work. The dreamscape is a holographic, symbolic reality where you process unresolved emotions from your day, heal energetic wounds from your past, and receive direct guidance from your higher self. To ignore your dreams is to leave the most insightful and personalized therapeutic and guidance sessions you will ever have waiting for you, unread on the nightstand. The first key to unlocking this realm is to understand that everyone and everything in your dream is you. Every character, every object, every landscape is a symbolic representation of an aspect of your own consciousness. The terrifying monster chasing you is a projection of a shadow part you have been running from, perhaps your disowned anger or fear. The wise, benevolent old woman who gives you a gift is a symbolic form of your own higher self or inner wisdom. The car you are driving represents the way you are moving through your life. If the brakes fail, you may feel out of control. If you are in the passenger seat, you may feel you have given your power away. The house you are in almost always represents your own self or psyche. Exploring a new, beautiful room is discovering a new talent or potential. Finding that the foundation is crumbling suggests that your core belief systems are no longer supporting you. To begin this sacred dialogue, you must signal to your soul that you are ready to listen. The simplest way is to set an intention before you sleep. Place a journal and pen by your bed. As you are drifting off, ask a clear question. What do I need to understand about my relationship with, or please show me what is blocking my creativity? Ask once, with sincerity, and then let it go. You are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious. When you awaken, even before you move or open your eyes, lie still and try to reel in the fragments of the dream. The feelings are the most important part. Did you feel scared, joyful, confused, liberated? The feeling is the energetic core of the message. Then, immediately write down everything you can remember in your dream journal. Write in the present tense, as if it is happening now. I am walking down a dark hallway. This helps you re-enter the dream's reality. Write down all the details, no matter how strange. The color of a door, the number on a clock, the strange words someone spoke. Do not try to analyze it yet. The first step is simply to honor the message by receiving it and writing it down. This act alone tells your soul, I am listening, send me more, and it will. When you are ready to engage with the meaning, put away the generic dream dictionaries. Your soul speaks in a personal language. An owl might mean wisdom to one person, but to another, it might be connected to a specific memory of a grandmother who loved owls. The key is what the symbol means to you. Look at the main symbols in your dream and ask these questions. What does this symbol feel like to me? What are my personal associations with it? If this symbol, this house, this animal, this person could speak to me, what would it say? Where else in my waking life do I have this same feeling I had in the dream? The dream is a symbolic mirror, reflecting your inner state back to you through a story. By engaging with it in this way, you become your own interpreter, your own oracle. The second great channel of symbolic communication is the waking dream we call synchronicity. This is a term coined by the psychologist Carl Jung to describe a meaningful coincidence. An event in the outer world that mirrors your inner state so perfectly that it feels like a wink from the universe. It is the universe's way of confirming that it is listening, that it is in dialogue with you, and that the separation between your inner and outer worlds is an illusion. You have experienced this countless times. You are wrestling with a difficult decision, and you get on a bus, and the advertisement in front of you contains a phrase that is the perfect answer. You are thinking of an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, and your phone rings, and it is them. You keep seeing a particular sequence of numbers, 11, 11, 444, 222, every time you are pondering your spiritual path. A bird or animal behaves in a strange way, capturing your attention at the exact moment you ask the universe for a sign. These are not random accidents. They are picture postcards. They are messages. The key to interpreting synchronicity is context. The meaning lies in the intersection of the outer event and your inner state at that precise moment. When the synchronicity occurs, ask yourself immediately, what was I just thinking about? What was I just feeling? What question was I holding in my heart? A feather falling at your feet is just a feather, but a feather falling at your feet the very moment you ask, am I on the right path? Takes on a profound meaning. perhaps of lightness, of flight, of angelic confirmation. Seeing an owl is just seeing an owl. But if you have been asking for wisdom about a complex situation, and a great owl lands on a branch right in front of you and stares into your soul, a message has been delivered. Become a detective of meaning in your own life. Look for the patterns, the echoes, the rhymes between your inner world and the outer world. The universe is a living, intelligent, and often playful correspondent. The third channel is the inner vision. These are the spontaneous images, metaphors, and daydreams that flash into your mind during quiet moments, often in meditation, while walking in nature, or just before you fall asleep. These are different from ordinary, anxious thoughts. An anxious thought feels repetitive and stressful. An inner vision feels fresh, often unexpected, and carries a distinct energetic signature, a feeling of insight, of peace, or of simple truth. You might be meditating on a feeling of being stuck and suddenly have a clear, vivid image of a beautiful, powerful river blocked by a single, large, gray boulder. This is not a random image. It is a postcard from your soul. It is showing you the energetic reality of your situation. The image itself contains the wisdom. The river is your life force, powerful and beautiful. The boulder is the obstacle, perhaps a single, limiting belief. The message is not just that you are blocked, but that the power of your life force is infinitely greater than the obstacle. It invites you to focus on the river, not the rock. Honor these inner visions. Treat them like mini-dreams. Write them down, sketch them, ask them what they are here to teach you. They are often the most direct and concise messages you can receive from your deeper intelligence. Learning to speak this symbolic language is like learning any new tongue. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to trust your intuition. Run every symbol through the scanner of your heart. The mind will see the postcard and try to analyze the ink in the cardstock. The heart will look at the picture and instantly feel the sender's message. Over time, you will develop your own personal, symbolic vocabulary. You will learn what an eagle means to you, what the color blue feels like in your soul's language, what the energy of the number 8 represents in your life. As you become more fluent, you begin to see that these are not just isolated messages. You start to perceive the larger patterns, the recurring symbols that weave through the days, weeks, and years of your life. You might notice that the same type of challenge appears over and over again. You might see that you have the same difficult relationship, just with a different person playing the role. You see the pattern. This recurring pattern, this grand, overarching symbol that repeats not just in this life, but throughout the chapters of our many lives, has a name. It is the energetic signature of a lesson our soul is seeking to master. In the ancient language of the East, this great, repeating symbolic pattern is known as karma. As you become fluent in the symbolic language of your life, you begin to see the larger patterns. You notice the recurring themes, the repeating challenges, the grand symbols that weave not just through this life, but echo from the very river of memory itself. We now arrive at the name for this great, repeating, symbolic pattern of cause and effect. This is the law of karma. Of all the sacred concepts that have been passed down through the ages, perhaps none has been more distorted by fear and misunderstanding than this. We have been taught to see karma as a cosmic system of reward and punishment, a divine courtroom where a celestial judge weighs our deeds on a great scale. We have been taught to fear karmic debt and to hope for karmic reward. This entire framework is a human projection, born of the ego's obsession with guilt, blame, and a transactional sense of justice. It is a child's understanding of a law that is as impersonal, as neutral, and as elegant as the law of gravity. Let us now wipe the slate clean and understand this law in its pure, energetic truth. The law of karma is not a moral law. It is a law of energetic physics. It is the principle of resonance, of cause and effect, applied on a universal scale. In its simplest form, it states, "That which you send out returns to you. The frequency you broadcast is the frequency you will receive." It is not a punishment for broadcasting a low frequency. It is simply the natural, unavoidable consequence. To be angry at gravity for pulling a dropped stone to the earth is pointless. To be angry at karma for reflecting your own energy back to you is equally so. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every emotion you feel, and every action you take emits a specific vibration. The sum total of these vibrations, moment by moment, creates your unique energetic signature. This signature is what you are constantly imprinting upon the unified field, the very fabric of the cosmos. Karma is the law that ensures the universe will unfailingly mirror this signature back to you in the form of the situations, the people, and the experiences of your life. Imagine you are standing alone in the center of a vast, perfectly spherical chamber. The walls of this chamber are made of a miraculous, energetic material that reflects back to you with perfect and instantaneous fidelity, the exact quality of whatever you send out. This chamber is the universe. It has no opinion about you. It does not judge you. It is a perfect, neutral mirror. It only reflects. If you shout words of anger and frustration into this chamber, the walls will echo back the precise frequency of anger and frustration. If you whisper words of gentle gratitude, the echo that returns will be one of gratitude. If you broadcast a frequency of lack and scarcity, a feeling that there is never enough for me, the entire chamber will reverberate with the energy of lack, and your material experience will be one of insufficiency. If you broadcast a frequency of love, of compassion, of seeing the best in others, the chamber will reflect that love back to you through the loving people and harmonious circumstances that appear in your life. For lifetimes, we have been trying to argue with the echo. When the echo of our own inner conflict comes back to us in the form of a difficult person, we yell at that person. We blame the walls of the chamber. We curse our bad luck, believing we are victims of an unjust world. But the chamber can only return what we have given it. To argue with the echo is madness. It is to fundamentally misunderstand the law of the room you are in. It is to give away all of your power. Your true power does not lie in fighting the reflection. Your power lies in changing the original sound. You, in the eternal present moment, are the source of the broadcast. You are the singer of the song. You have the absolute power, in this now, to change the note you are singing. This is the key to mastering your life and dissolving the painful, recurring patterns you have identified. A repeating karmic pattern is not a life sentence. It is simply a lesson your soul has chosen to master. It is a specific, dissonant frequency that you are learning, through experience, how to transmute into harmony. If you have a recurring pattern of betrayal in your life, perhaps your soul is learning to master the frequency of sovereign self-love and radical self-trust. The universe, like a compassionate and infinitely patient teacher, will continue to send you scenarios that feel like betrayal until you stop broadcasting the old, familiar frequency of victimhood, "Why does this always happen to me?" and begin to broadcast the new, coherent frequency of self-worth. I am worthy of loyalty, beginning with my loyalty to myself. When you change your broadcast, when you change your energetic signature, the betrayal echo can no longer find a resonant match in your field. It cannot land, and the pattern, having taught you its lesson, dissolves. This liberates you from all sense of victimhood. You are not being punished. You are being educated by a curriculum of your own soul's design. This is an act of immense love, not cruelty. The universe believes in your ability to learn the lesson and graduate. So how do you rewrite your energetic signature? It all happens in the present moment. You cannot change the echoes from your past that are already in motion, on their way back to you. They must be met with grace, compassion, and the wisdom you are now cultivating. But you can, right now, change the signal you are sending out from this moment forward, which will determine the nature of the echoes you receive tomorrow, next month, next year. You do this with the tools you have already gathered. You change your signature with every conscious breath you take, choosing to breathe in peace and breathe out tension. You change it with every word you speak, consciously choosing language that affirms strength and possibility over language that reinforces limitation. You change your signature most powerfully through your coherent heart, by actively choosing to generate the feelings of gratitude, compassion, and love, which are among the highest frequencies you can broadcast. Every time you consciously choose love over fear, gratitude over complaint, compassion over judgment, you are sending a powerful, new, coherent signal into the great chamber of the universe. You are rewriting your karma in real time. We can therefore dispense with the clumsy notions of good karma and bad karma. There is only resonant karma. There are energetic patterns that are in harmony with the truth of your soul, and there are patterns that are dissonant with it. What we call good karma is simply the natural, harmonious reflection of a being who is broadcasting a signature of love, joy, and peace. It is not a reward, it is a reflection. What we call bad karma is the natural, dissonant reflection of a being who is broadcasting a signature of fear, anger, and separation. It is not a punishment, it is a reflection, a divine feedback mechanism designed to show you where your energy is out of alignment with your own deepest desires. The goal is not to accumulate good points with a cosmic judge. The goal is to achieve a state of natural, effortless harmony with the laws of the universe by becoming a conscious and loving source of energy. As you continue this work of mastering your own frequency, a final, fundamental shift in perception occurs. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of the echo. You even stop seeing yourself as a student struggling with a karmic lesson. You begin to realize, on a deep, cellular, intuitive level, that you are the source of the sound. You are the singer of the song. The energetic signature you broadcast is not something you do. It is a direct reflection of what you are in any given moment. You see with ultimate clarity that the universe is not doing anything to you. It is simply and perfectly responding to you. It is mirroring your own state of being back to you so that you can see yourself. This leads to the most profound realization of the entire spiritual journey. You are not just the one creating the code that the universe reads. In the deepest truth of your being, you are the code. You are the living message. You are the ancient word spoken into the great echo chamber of creation. With the final, profound realization that you are the singer of the song, and not merely a listener to its echo, the entire foundation of your reality undergoes a seismic shift. The great cosmic search, the quest that has driven your soul for lifetimes, comes to a sudden and peaceful end. The pilgrim puts down their staff, the seeker stops seeking, the student gently closes the book. For eons, you have been searching for God, for truth, for enlightenment, for some sacred code or celestial key that would finally unlock your power and set you free. You have sought it on mountaintops and in ancient temples. You have looked for it in the words of gurus and in the pages of holy scriptures. You have pursued it through countless spiritual practices, always striving, always reaching for a future state of perfection. The search itself, noble and necessary as it was based on a single, fundamental, and exquisitely flawed premise: that what you were looking for was separate from you, that it was out there, in a place you had not yet reached, or in here, as something buried that you had not yet found. The entire spiritual journey was structured as a process of becoming, a journey of a separate me striving to attain a separate hit. And now, in the clear, silent light of your own awareness, you see the grand, beautiful cosmic joke. There is no separation. There is nothing to attain. There is nowhere to go. Imagine you have spent your entire life on a quest for the most sacred book in the universe, the legendary text that is said to contain the ultimate code of creation. You have studied the ancient maps, deciphered the cryptic clues, and journeyed to the farthest, most inaccessible corners of the earth. You have overcome immense obstacles, both inner and outer. Finally, exhausted but resolute, you arrive at the sanctum sanctorum, the holiest of holies, the chamber where the book is kept. You enter the silent, hallowed space, your heart pounding with anticipation. There on a great stone altar is not a book, but a perfect, luminous, circular mirror. And as you gaze into your own reflection, seeing not just your face but the starlight in your eyes, you hear a voice that is your own, and yet more than your own, a voice that resonates from the very stone of the altar and the very fabric of space itself. And it says, "The code that you seek is the one who is looking." Let this realization land. Let it dismantle you. The search was the journey back to the mirror. The journey was designed to make you worthy, not of finding the code, but of recognizing that you have always been it. You are not the one who activates the code. You are the code. You are not the one who speaks the language of light. You are the language of light, expressing itself in human form. But who is this you that is the code? It is essential to understand this, lest the ego simply creates a new, more grandiose suit of armor, the armor of the enlightened one. The you who is the code is not the personality. It is not Jane or John or the story of your triumphs and traumas. That is the armor, the character in the play. The you who is the code is the timeless, formless, silent awareness that is looking out through your eyes at this very moment. It is the presence that was here before the character was ever developed. It is the pure, unconditioned I amness that exists prior to all labels. You are not a noun. You are not a fixed thing. You are a verb. You are the universe in the dynamic process of experiencing itself. You are awareness, awaring. You are consciousness, consciousing. You are the ancient code, coding reality into existence with every moment of your being. Your body is not a container for the code. Your body is the code, written in the magnificent, living language of biology. Every one of your cells is a syllable. Every strand of your DNA is a sacred sentence. Your heartbeat is the rhythm and the cadence. Your breath is the punctuation, the sacred pause between divine utterances. You are a living, breathing, walking, talking scripture. You are a love letter written from the divine to itself, and your life is the process of that letter being read aloud. What does it mean to live from this realization? What are the implications of truly knowing that you are the code? The first and most immediate consequence is that the endless, exhausting spiritual project of trying simply falls away. The striving ceases. How can you try to be what you already are? Can a wave in the ocean try to become wetter? Can a sunbeam try to be more luminous? Can you, a living expression of divine intelligence, try to be more spiritual? The frantic energy of becoming is replaced by the serene, powerful energy of being. You stop trying to climb the ladder to heaven and realize you are, and always have been, a part of the very fabric of heaven itself, having a human experience. The focus of your spiritual life shifts entirely. It is no longer about activating your DNA as if it were a dormant piece of machinery outside of you. It shifts to the joyful and creative challenge of expressing the divine intelligence that you are, through the unique and beautiful instrument of your human mind and body. You stop trying to get light into you, and you realize your core purpose is to radiate the light that is you out into the world. You are no longer a seeker of light. You are a beacon of it. This does not mean that you suddenly become a perfect, flawless human being. This is a critical point. The armor may still lie in pieces at your feet, and you may from time to time out of habit pick up an old familiar piece, a sliver of an old belief, a shard of an old fear. The echoes of old karma may still arrive on the shores of your awareness, but your relationship to them is utterly transformed. You no longer see them as flaws in your being, as evidence of your failure to be enlightened. You see them as part of the rich, complex texture of the divine message you are expressing. You understand that the universe is learning about courage through your experience of fear. It is learning about compassion through your experience of sorrow. It is learning about forgiveness through your experience of being hurt. Your so-called imperfections are not mistakes. They are the notes that give the symphony of your life its depth, its texture, and its heartbreaking beauty. Let us drop all concepts now. Let go of the seeker, the student, the patient, the healer. Let go of the code, the library, the armor, the dragons. Let all metaphors dissolve back into the silence from which they came. Simply rest. Rest in the silent, formless awareness that is here now, listening to these words. In this silence, I will ask you a question, and I want you to feel for the answer, not with your mind, but with your entire being. Who is it that is aware of these words? Do not search for a thought. Feel for the source. Feel for the silent, knowing presence that is effortlessly aware. And let the recognition dawn within you, not as a word, but as a direct, self-evident experience. I am. Who is it that is aware of the feeling of your body sitting here? Feel into it. The answer is the same. A silent, immovable presence, EM. Who is aware of the gentle rhythm of your breath, flowing in and out without any effort from you? The answer is a feeling of pure being, I am. Who is aware of the silence in the room between these words? The answer is the silence itself, aware of itself, I am. Rest in this. Rest in this simple, profound, and exquisitely powerful feeling of I am. This is you, before a story was ever attached to you. This is you, before a name was ever given to you. This is the source. This is the code. This is the message. Feel its profound peace. Feel its quiet, unshakable power. Feel its infinite, unconditional love for itself. This is your true nature. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. You are not a creation of God. You are a creator, an individuation of God, experiencing itself. When you begin to rest in this knowing, when you truly start to identify not with the fleeting story of the person, but with the eternal presence that you are, the very energy that constitutes your being begins to shift. It begins to reorganize itself to match this new, expanded, and truthful self-concept. The old, dense, contracted energy of the ego identity, which was based on fear and separation, begins to transmute into a higher, more refined, more coherent frequency. The dormant potentials encoded in your DNA, the volumes in the library that were waiting for this very recognition, for the true librarian to take their seat, begin to stir. Your entire energetic system begins to upgrade from a primarily physical, survival-based operating system to a crystalline, light-based operating system. This upgraded energetic architecture, this new vehicle for your newly remembered divine consciousness, has a name in many traditions. It is the garment of stars you weave around yourself with your own awakened awareness. It is the chariot of the gods. We now turn our attention from the inner realization of who you are to the tangible emergence and embodiment of the glorious vehicle for that realization, your light body. You have recognized yourself as the code, as the pure, silent, I am presence. This recognition is not a passive intellectual understanding. It is the most powerful creative force in the universe. As your consciousness makes this monumental shift in identity from the finite character in the story to the infinite author of the story, your energetic structure must, by law, upgrade itself to match this new, expanded reality. The caterpillar of the ego self, having dissolved in the sacred chrysalis of realization, now begins to weave its new and glorious form. This form is your light body. The light body is not a new body that you acquire or a second body that exists separately from your physical one. It is a dormant potential within your current biological structure that is now being systematically awakened. Think of it as the subtle, energetic scaffolding upon which your dense physical body is draped. It is to your physical body what a magnetic field is to a piece of iron. It is the invisible, organizing intelligence that gives the physical form its structure, its vitality, and its purpose. For eons, humanity has operated on a dense, carbon-based blueprint, an operating system designed for the lessons of survival, separation, and duality. This old system has served its purpose beautifully. But as you awaken to your true nature as the code itself, you initiate a profound biological and energetic upgrade. Your system begins to shift from a carbon-based to a crystalline-based structure. This term, crystalline, is not just poetry. It refers to a state of perfect geometric coherence and resonance. A crystalline structure, like a quartz crystal, is capable of receiving, holding, amplifying, and transmitting energy and information with incredible efficiency and clarity. Your DNA itself is now beginning to function less like a fixed biological blueprint and more like a liquid crystalline antenna, capable of communicating with the higher dimensions of your own consciousness. You are, quite literally, becoming a being of light. Let us use a simple metaphor. For most of human history, we have been like very low-wattage light bulbs. The physical filament the body is present, but only a tiny trickle of divine, creative current has been flowing through it. It has been enough to give off a dim, warm glow, enough to navigate the immediate darkness of the material world, but the light has been faint, and the filament itself, fragile. The spiritual work we have undertaken, together clearing the noise, tuning the instrument, befriending the shadow, dissolving the armor, and realizing our true nature has been the process of upgrading the wiring of the lamp and systematically turning up the voltage from the infinite power source. The activated light body is the result of this dramatically increased flow of divine current, of prana, of life force. As more and more light pours through your system, the very nature of the filament begins to change. It becomes brighter, more resilient, more radiant. It begins to hum with a higher, purer frequency. At a certain point of this acceleration, a magical transformation occurs. The light becomes so brilliant that you can no longer distinguish the filament from the light it is emitting. The bulb does not just have light, it becomes a sphere of pure, radiant light. You do not just have a light body, you become a light body having a human experience. What does this feel like in your direct experience? This is not some far-off, abstract goal. It is a tangible, felt reality that unfolds in stages. You may begin to experience a new kind of physical vitality, a feeling of lightness in your limbs, as if gravity has less of a hold on you. You may feel a gentle, persistent warmth or a pleasant buzzing sensation flowing up your spine or vibrating throughout your entire body. Many find their need for dense, heavy foods lessens as they begin to unconsciously draw nourishment directly from the energy of the unified field. Sleep patterns may change, becoming shorter but more profound and restorative. Emotionally and mentally, the shift is undeniable. Your emotional baseline becomes one of peace and quiet joy. You are still capable of feeling the full spectrum of human emotion, but you are no longer swept away by them. You become the calm center of the storm. The persistent brain fog of the old dense reality lifts, replaced by a crystalline mental clarity. Your thoughts become more insightful, more creative, and you find it easier to focus your attention. Perhaps the most profound shift is perceptual. Your intuition, which was once a faint whisper, becomes your primary and most reliable mode of perception. It is a clear, unwavering inner voice, a direct knowing that guides your choices with grace and efficiency. You may begin to perceive the subtle energies that were always there but previously invisible to you. You might start to see subtle auras of light around people, trees, and animals. You might walk into a room and instantly feel the energetic residue of the conversation that just took place. The world reveals itself to you as a vibrant, living symphony of energy, and you realize you have finally developed the senses to perceive it. Let us now engage in the conscious weaving of this glorious garment of stars. Let us return to the sacred geometry of your Merkaba, the star tetrahedron of light that we activated earlier. This is the underlying framework, the loom upon which we will weave. Find your still, centered space. Your conscious, heart-focused breath is the shuttle on this great loom. With every slow, deep inhalation, imagine that you are drawing down shimmering threads of pure, liquid, platinum-white light from the infinite cosmic source, from the great central Sunday, from the heart of God. Draw this divine light down through the crown of your head, the highest point of your being, and pull it directly into your heart center. Your coherent, loving heart is the master weaver. The heart takes this raw, universal light and instantly imbues it with your own unique soul frequency, your unique color and tone in the great cosmic symphony. Now, on the exhalation, visualize and feel your heart radiating this newly encoded, personalized light outwards in all directions. See it flowing along the energetic pathways, the luminous lines of your star tetrahedron, making them stronger, brighter, more solid, more radiant with each and every breath. With every breath cycle, you are consciously and deliberately weaving your garment of stars. You are building your light body. Feel this field of coherent light expanding. Feel it saturating every single cell of your physical body, raising its vibration, clearing old densities, and restoring its original divine blueprint of perfect health. Feel the light then extending outwards, beyond your skin, creating a sovereign, luminous, and powerful space around you. Torus-shaped field of radiant energy, centered on your heart. This is your activated field. Living in this state, your activated light body becomes your new interface with reality. You no longer interact with the world primarily through the limitations of your 5 physical senses and your analytical mind. You now begin to interact with the world field to field, energy to energy, consciousness to consciousness. And as a coherent broadcaster, the universe responds to your signal, to your intention, with astonishing speed and clarity. The time lag between holding a clear intention in your heart and seeing its physical manifestation in your life begins to shorten dramatically. You discover that you can co-create your reality with a grace and effortlessness that the old, armored ego self could never have imagined. As you become more stable and practiced in maintaining this activated state, you realize with a thrill of divine recognition that you are not just a passive beacon of light. You are a conscious and sovereign creator. Your entire being is now a resonant amplifier. The intentions you hold, the feelings you generate from your heart, and the very words you speak are no longer small, personal events. They are potent, creative commands, broadcast with immense power and clarity through the great antenna of your light body, directly into the receptive, creative matrix of the unified field. This leads us to the next awesome stage of our creative mastery. Having become the light, we must now learn to direct that light with precision, with wisdom, and with love. We must learn the ancient art of speaking reality into being. Your light body is active. Your energetic field is coherent, powerful, and humming with the pure potential of your realized divine nature. You are now a resonant amplifier, a sovereign broadcaster whose signal is heard by the cosmos with an intimacy and responsiveness you have never before known. We now arrive at the most direct and deliberate use of this amplified power. We come to the sacred, creative faculty of the spoken word, used not to describe, but to command. For your entire life, you have used language as a mirror, reflecting the reality you observe. You look at your bank account and say, "I am broke." You feel a pain in your body and say, "I am sick." You face a challenge and say, "This is difficult." In each case, you are using the immense power of your voice and your attention to reinforce and recreate the very condition you wish to change. We are now going to invert this process entirely. You are about to learn to use language not as a mirror reflecting the past, but as a paintbrush, creating the future. You will learn to speak not what is, but what you choose to be. How is this possible? It is possible because your words are no longer small, isolated events. A word spoken by an unconscious, fragmented person is like a small pebble dropped in a vast and stormy ocean. Its ripple is quickly lost in the general chaos. But a word spoken by you from this new state of awakened coherence is a focused, laser-like beam of creative energy. It carries the pure, unwavering intention of your heart. It is amplified by the immense power of your light body, and it is given a precise vibrational form by the sound of the word itself. This focused beam of conscious energy impresses itself upon the quantum field, the infinite, unmanifest potential from which all things are born, and instructs it, like a master sculptor working with divine clay, on what form to take. Let us use a simple metaphor. The quantum field is like a plot of infinitely fertile dark soil. It is neutral, patient, and unconditionally receptive. It will grow absolutely anything you plant in it, without judgment or preference. Your words are the seeds. Each word, and the intention behind it, carries the precise energetic blueprint for a specific reality. I am struggling is a seed that will grow a thorny, tangled weed of struggle. I am not worthy is a seed that will grow a plant that bears the bitter fruit of rejection. These are not punishments. They are simply the result of the seeds you have planted. The water and sunlight that cause these seeds to germinate are your focus and your feeling state. When you water the seeds of your words with the powerful emotions of your heart, love, joy, gratitude, faith, they sprout with astonishing speed. If you continuously plant seeds of doubt, fear, and complaint, the fertile soil of the universe will dutifully grow for you a garden of weeds. If, however, you consciously, deliberately choose to plant seeds of power, love, and possibility, the soil will just as dutifully produce a magnificent garden of grace, abundance, and fulfillment. You are the divine gardener of your own reality. You must become exquisitely mindful of the seeds you are sowing with every sentence you speak and every thought you entertain. The ancient mystics and modern masters of manifestation, like Neville Goddard, understood this creative law perfectly. The technology for its application is both simple and profoundly transformative. It begins with the two most powerful words in the human language, the very name of God, I am. End of quote. Whatever you place after the words I am becomes your decreed reality. The universe does not question your I am statement. It does not judge whether you are worthy of it or whether it is possible. It simply hears your sovereign declaration of being, and like a faithful servant, it rearranges itself to bring you the experience that matches your claim. For this reason, you must become vigilant about how you use these words. To say, I am so tired, is to cast a spell of exhaustion upon yourself. To say, I am always misunderstood, is to issue a creative command for more misunderstanding. The secret to powerful creation is to speak and feel from the end result. You do not plead with the universe from a state of lack. You do not say, I will be abundant. For that statement affirms that you are not abundant now. That is a prayer of lack that will only bring you more lack. Instead, you stand firmly in the eternal power of the present moment, and with the full authority of your divine self, you declare what is now true. You declare, I am abundant. Let us walk through this sacred creative process. First, get clear on the essence of your desire. Do not focus on the specific form, but on the feeling state you believe the form will give you. You do not wish for a specific romantic partner. You wish for the feeling of deep, unconditional love and joyful companionship. You do not wish for a specific amount of money. You wish for the feeling of freedom, security, and ease. Identify the core feeling. Second, formulate your declaration using the creative power of I am. Let us say the feeling you desire is radiant health. Your declaration is simple, present, and potent. I am radiantly healthy and filled with divine vitality. End of 4. Third, and this is the most crucial step, you must enter the state of the wish fulfilled. This is the alchemy. Close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart and enter a state of coherence through your breath. Now, generate the feeling of your declaration as if it were already a concrete reality. What would it feel like right now in your body to be radiantly healthy? Feel the energy coursing through your limbs. Feel the sense of ease and comfort in your every cell. Feel the joy and gratitude for this state of vibrant well-being. You must feel it now. You do not visualize it in the future. You embody its reality in the present. Fourth, While holding this feeling state, speak your declaration aloud. Speak it not as a hopeful plea, but as a calm, confident statement of fact. You are not asking. You are informing reality of how things now are. I am radiantly healthy and filled with divine vitality. Speak the words and let their vibration resonate from your coherent heart, through your light body, and out into the receptive field of creation. Fifth, and finally, you must let it go. You have planted the seed in the fertile soil. You have watered it with your faith and feeling. Now, you must trust the process. You do not dig up the seed every 5 minutes to see if it is growing. That is an act of doubt which will kill the germination. You release your specific desire to the greater intelligence of the universe, and you go about your day holding the quiet, confident feeling of your wish already being fulfilled. You rest in the Sabbath of creation. This is not a form of toxic positivity. It is not about pretending you don't have challenges or suppressing difficult emotions as they arise. The shadow work, the honoring of all your feelings, remains essential. This is about consciously choosing what reality you are creating from this moment forward, even as you heal the echoes of the past. It is the profound difference between standing in a rainstorm and lying to yourself by saying, "It's not raining," versus standing in the storm and declaring with sovereign power, "I am the calm at the center of this storm, and I am calling forth the sun." The first is denial. The second is an act of high magic. This power of creative speech, amplified by your light body, is immense. In the beginning of this new awareness, there is a natural and joyful excitement, a desire to speak, to create, to manifest, to joyfully shape your world with your newfound power. But as you mature in your mastery, as you become more attuned to the subtle rhythms of the universe, you discover a complementary truth of equal importance. You realize that constant speaking, constant creating, constant projecting of energy can itself become a form of noise, a subtle form of egoic striving. You learn that there are times to plant the seed, and there are times to let the sacred field lie fallow. There are times to sing your song into the echo chamber, and there are times to simply sit in profound silence and listen to the echo of the universe itself responding to you. The true master of energy knows not only the power of the word, but also the profound, gestating power of the silence from which it is born and to which it must return. The journey to complete mastery requires an understanding of both the great song of creation and the great silence that holds it. It requires the divine dance of action and receptivity. You have awakened to your power as a conscious creator, a divine voice amplified by the coherence of your heart and the radiance of your light body. In the initial, exhilarating thrill of this discovery, the temptation is to speak constantly. It is to fill every moment with intention, with declaration, and with the joyful act of creation. This is a beautiful and necessary stage. But as your journey deepens, as you mature in your mastery, you discover a secret of even greater profundity. The power of the word is born from the infinite, generative power of the silence. Ultimate mastery lies not in endless speaking, but in learning the sacred, dynamic dance between the great song and the great silence. These are the two fundamental, complementary forces of all existence. They are the universal principles known in many traditions as yin and yang, Shiva and Shakti, consciousness and energy. The great song is the principle of expression, of action, of creation. It is the outward radiating force. It is the I am declaration you send into the quantum field. It is the painting of the picture, the building of the temple, the singing of the note. It is the divine masculine principle dynamic, focused, generative, and intent on giving its gift to the world. The great silence is the principle of being, of stillness, of pure receptivity. It is the inward drawing force. It is the vast, empty field in which the seed of your intention is planted. It is the holy darkness of the cosmic womb, in which all creation gestates before it is born. It is the pause between the notes that gives the music its meaning, its beauty, and its emotional power. It is the divine feminine principle, spacious, nurturing, mysterious, and all-encompassing. It is the pure, silent I am, before any words are attached to it. For a moment, consider a master musician. A novice, eager to impress and prove their skill, may try to fill every single moment with a frantic flurry of notes. They fear the silence, seeing it as an emptiness, a failure of their ability to express. The result is a piece that may be technically complex, but it is soulless. It is exhausting to listen to because it offers no space for breath, no room for feeling, no moment for the notes to land and resonate in the heart of the listener. The master musician, however, has an intimate and loving relationship with silence. They understand that the rests are just as important as the notes. They sculpt their music with both sound and its absence. The silence is used to build anticipation, to create drama, to allow for a moment of profound emotional resonance before the next phrase begins. The silence is the deep black velvet upon which the diamonds of the notes are displayed. Without the silence, the notes would be a meaningless jumble. Your life is your symphony. To live a masterful life, an awakened life, is to become a master musician of your own being. It is to learn to honor both your notes and your rests. There is a time for the great Sangha, time for bold action, for clear intention, for focused work, for creative expression. And there is a time for the great Silencia, time for deep rest, for non-doing, for simply listening, for allowing the universe to respond to the notes you have already played. The imbalance between these two principles is the source of much of the suffering in the modern world. Many of us are addicted to the great song. We live in a culture that glorifies doing, achieving, producing, and speaking. We are terrified of the great silence. We fill every spare moment with distraction. This leads to a state of profound spiritual burnout. We become a broadcaster who never listens for a reply. We are constantly planting seeds without ever allowing them the quiet, dark time they need to germinate. Our lives become loud, frantic, and disconnected from the deep, nourishing wisdom of our own receptive nature. We become all action and no soul. Others, particularly on the spiritual path, can fall into the opposite imbalance. They fall in love with the great silence and want to stay there forever. They may meditate for hours a day, reveling in the peace and stillness, but they neglect to bring that peace back into the world through creative action. They become a receiver that never broadcasts its own unique signal. They are all soul and no action. They may feel peaceful, but their divine purpose, the unique and beautiful song that only they can sing, remains unexpressed, locked within them. The world is robbed of their gift. The path of mastery is the path of the sacred dance. It is learning to move gracefully between these two poles. The practice is this. You learn to let your action arise from a place of deep stillness. Instead of acting from the frantic, fearful impulses of the egoic mind, you learn to wait. You sit in the great silence of your own being until an authentic, clear, intuitive impulse to act arises from that deep place. This action will feel different. It will be effortless, graceful, powerful, and perfectly timed. It is what the Taoists call Wu Wei, or effortless action. It is right action, born not of anxious thought, but of deep inner knowing. And after the action is complete, after the note has been sung, you consciously and deliberately return to the great silence. You do not immediately jump to the next task on your list. You rest, you integrate, you create space to feel the results of your action. You listen for the universe's response. This stillness is now different. It is richer, informed, and deepened by the experience of your creative expression. This is the divine rhythm of creation. It is the in-breath of receptive silence and the out-breath of creative action. You inhale the stillness, gathering your energy and your wisdom. You exhale the song, delivering your unique gift into the world. You inhale the receiving, you exhale the giving. This is the inner marriage, the sacred union of the divine masculine and feminine within you. In the Hindu tradition, it is the dance of Shiva, the formless, silent, pure consciousness, and Shakti, the dynamic, creative, energetic force that creates all worlds. The goal is not to choose one over the other. The goal is to become the sacred space where they make love. When this inner union takes place, you become a being of profound balance. You are simultaneously the silent, unmoving mountain and the wild, creative river that flows down its slopes. You are the deep, silent expanse of the night sky, and you are the brilliant, singular star that shines within it. You are, at once, the great silence and the great song. When you learn to live in this divine rhythm, your very presence becomes a powerful, harmonizing force in the world. You are no longer a frantic source of energetic noise, nor are you a void of disengaged passivity. You are a point of perfect, dynamic equilibrium. You radiate a quality of profound peace, even when you are in action. You radiate a quality of potent creativity, even when you are in stillness. This state of being has an effect on everything and everyone around you. You do not need to try to help them, to fix them, or to teach them. By simply existing in this state of integrated harmony, you become a living testament to what is possible. Your presence becomes your greatest service. You become a lighthouse, standing firm and bright in the midst of the storm, not through great effort, but by the very nature of your being. You have found the sacred rhythm, the divine internal dance between the great silence and the great song. You have learned to act from a place of stillness, and to rest in a stillness enriched by your creative expression. In doing so, you have become a point of dynamic equilibrium, a human being who is a living bridge between the formless and the world of form, between heaven and earth. Your presence now radiates a quality of profound peace in action and potent creativity in stillness. And so, the final question of this great journey of activation arises: to what end? For what purpose have you undertaken this immense work of alchemy, healing, and remembrance? The answer is both exquisitely simple and profoundly revolutionary. The ultimate purpose of your awakening is not, in the end, for you. Your personal liberation, your joy, your peace, these are beautiful and necessary byproducts, but they are not the final destination. The destination is service. But this is a new paradigm of service, one that the ego can barely comprehend. It is not the service of doing, but the service of being. It is not the service of striving, but the service of shining. It is the service of the lighthouse. Let us consider the nature of a lighthouse. It is built upon the most rugged and dangerous part of the coast, the very place where the land meets the chaotic fury of the sea. It stands tall amidst the crashing waves, the howling winds, and the darkest, most impenetrable fog. The lighthouse does not panic. It does not curse the storm or judge the ships for getting lost in it. It does not abandon its post to rush out into the fray. It has only one single, focused purpose: to be itself, to stand firm in its deep foundation, to remain connected to its source of power, and to radiate its light consistently, peacefully, and unconditionally. The ego, when it becomes spiritual, wants to be a rescue boat. It hears of ships lost in the storm, and it feels a frantic need to do something. It wants to race out into the churning waters, sirens blaring, and save everyone. It wants to board every struggling vessel, wrestle the helm from the captain, and tow the ship back to shore. This form of service, while often well-intentioned, is born of anxiety and a subtle sense of superiority. It is exhausting. It requires the rescue boat to leave its own safe harbor and enter the very chaos it seeks to alleviate. And it often disempowers the very ones it seeks to help, creating dependency and resistance. The lighthouse operates on a completely different, higher law. It does not race around the island. It does not shout instructions over the wind. It simply shines. Its light cuts through the fog and the darkness, and it reveals two things with perfect clarity. Here are the dangerous rocks, and here is the safe passage home. The light is an offering, not a command. It does not force any ship to change its course. The captain of each vessel must still use their own skill, their own will, their own courage to navigate. The light does not save them. The light empowers them to save themselves. You are the lighthouse. Your very presence, your coherent energetic field, your unwavering peace amidst the storms of the world, is that light. When you walk into a room filled with the chaotic, dissonant energy of fear, gossip, or complaint, you do not need to say a word. You do not need to correct anyone, teach anyone, or heal anyone. By simply being there, grounded in your own being, centered in your heart, you broadcast a powerful, stable, and harmonious frequency. By the universal law of entrainment, the less stable frequencies in the room will naturally begin to harmonize with the most stable and coherent frequency present. Without any effort on your part, your field does the work. You offer a silent invitation to peace, which others are free to accept or reject according to their own readiness. This is the most respectful and most powerful form of service, for it honors the sovereignty and free will of all. Therefore, let go of the immense, egoic burden of needing to save the world. It is a weight that has crushed many beautiful souls. The world does not need another frantic rescue boat. It needs more lighthouses. Release the need to have all the answers for others. You do not. Simply be the quiet, peaceful space in which they can discover their own answers. Release the need to fix anyone. No one is broken. They are simply on their own unique journey of remembrance, just as you have been. Your primary, sacred, and lifelong responsibility is not to the salvation of every ship at sea. Your primary responsibility is to tend to your own light. Is your foundation strong, rooted in the earth of your body? Are you connected to your inner source of power, your divine I Am presence? Is the glass of your lantern clean, free from the smudges of judgment and opinion? Are you radiating your authentic light, your unique frequency, peacefully and without apology? If you do this, and only this, you will have performed the greatest possible service to your family, your community, and to all of humanity. Your life itself becomes the teaching. The unwavering peace in your eyes becomes a more persuasive sermon than any scripture. The genuine compassion in your voice becomes more healing than any well-intentioned advice. The authentic joy that radiates from your coherent heart becomes a more powerful catalyst for transformation than any workshop or seminar. You teach not by what you say, but by who you are. And so, our journey through the 20 gates of activation comes to its natural culmination. We began this voyage by hearing the faint, almost imperceptible echo of a forgotten language. We have traveled through the matrix of noise, endured the cracking of our old reality, and learned to tune the sacred instrument of the body. We have explored the alchemy of sound and the divine architecture of geometry. We have descended into the dungeon to befriend our dragons, and we have allowed the heavy armor of our identity to melt away. We have activated the quantum field of our heart, remembered ourselves as the living code, embraced the divine dance of creation, and now, finally, we accept our simple, profound, and silent purpose. You are the lighthouse. You have returned to the shore of your own being, no longer a vessel lost at sea, but a tower of light, standing firm and radiant against the horizon. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to achieve. There is nothing left to seek. There is only being. Being the light, being the peace, being the love. Let us now rest here, for a moment, in the simple, powerful, and complete truth of what you have become and what you have always been. And so, we arrive, not at an end, but at a true beginning. The great outward journey of seeking is complete, and the serene inward journey of being now unfolds with each breath you take. You came to this space listening for the faint, distant echo of a forgotten language. You leave this space as the sound itself, a resonant note in the great symphony of creation. You began this work feeling like a ship lost in a storm of noise. You now stand as the lighthouse, firm on the shore of your own being, radiating a clear and steady light. The search is over, because the seeker has merged with the sought. You looked for a key to unlock a distant power, and you have come to realize that there is no lock, no door, and the power was always your own awareness, your own heart, your own sovereign presence. You sought the language of light as if it were a foreign tongue to be learned, and you have now remembered that it is, and always has been, your native language. You do not just speak it, you are it. Your life is its expression. Your love is its meaning. If you are to take one thing from our time together, let it be this. Let these words be a touchstone, a simple truth to carry in your heart, to repeat in moments of doubt, to whisper in moments of joy. Let this be the new code that you run, the new song that you sing. Breathe in and know this truth in every cell. I am the code. Breathe out and feel this truth radiating from you. I am the light. Rest in the silence and be this truth completely. I am the song. Our journey together is now complete. The voice that has guided you will now fall away into the silence from which it came. The final and most important instruction is this. Do not immediately seek another voice. Do not rush to fill the beautiful, sacred space that has been created within you. The ultimate guide is the great silence itself. The most profound teaching is the living, intelligent presence you have awakened. So for the next few moments, or for as long as you wish, simply be here, in the quiet, in the peace. Let everything settle. Let everything integrate. Listen, not with your ears, but with your heart. Listen to the hum of your own light. Listen to the rhythm of your own peace. You have arrived. You are home. There is nothing more to say.